Never before have we had greater face a complex, rapidly changing world. Think of it a moment.
It is a world in which supersonic speeds are commonplace. It is a world that has seen the coming of the atomic bomb. It has seen the rise of the total state, the dictator, and the mass man. It is a world of new sensations, new excitements, new distractions.
So much to be learned by so many in so little time.
And I suppose you're here with no agenda, as per usual?
On the contrary, I'm here for comics.
How's your comic book collection, Brody?
Oh, it's going good, but I've been...
things and advertising things online, it's kind of a put up or shut up thing when that thing actually comes out, right? Because we see this all the time, especially in comics, right? Because Reddit and, YouTube and, Twitter and all of that, all the social media places are constantly filled with people, championing this book. And you would be led to believe that there are tens of millions of fans
who are of
whatever
Flash,
book,
right? Of Exceptional. Actually, that's a big one that I see get social media love. And I'm like, nobody
no one's buying it.
For good reason, because you pick up one issue and you go, holy shit, it's bad.
Yeah, it's just awful. And so you see that all the time, especially in comics. And so it is a put up or shut up thing when you come out with something, and if you're trying to hype it up and you're saying, yeah, I'm looking forward to this thing. All right, well, when that thing finally arrives, now you have to put up or shut up. Now it's like, all right, are you going to actually buy it?
Right. Or are you just
going to go try and pirate it?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Which is one of the reasons why we don't do digital, right? No. Because it's like we just focus on the physical, at least for the time being. And so the fans, to their credit, that were, talking a lot of hype and talking a lot of game, looking forward to Norfolk over at the RIPPAVERSE, when we finally launched the pre-order collection, they showed up.
Just blew it out of the water.
Right.
Well,
we're super happy.
That's good too, because I remember, what was it? It was earlier this year, right? I think for like one of the Horsemen thing, or maybe an ice. I don't know. But you guys revamped your back end to handle like the amount of traffic you guys were starting to pick up on. And if you hadn't have done that, from what I'm hearing that from you guys on Norfolk, you would have imploded the site. Everything would have been much worse.
If we hadn't revamped our site, I think it was late last year or early this year, where we had another major overhaul on the back end for it. We'd have had problems several times over.
I was going to say, I feel like you guys have crashed at one point. Yeah, and it was bad, and everybody, and for you, it was like a really bad day, because that's what you do over there.
Yep, it was a bad time. It was a bad time when that happened, but no more. But now it's good times.
Now it is good times. We have Norfolk coming out of the RIPPAVERSE, guys. We have that brand new song. I totally forget the name. Andrew, what's the Norfolk song? Glorious Death.
Check out Glorious Death.
Is that the theme song?
July.
Or is it just a single?
It's kind of it's a single.
See?
Now.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't say it. I know how this goes.
It's the single, but people you can't fault them for thinking that it's the theme, because we released it alongside the first issue of the book.
Right. No, 100%.
So at the very least, it's the theme for this miniseries.
That works. I actually kind of like that. It's sort of the same situation. Do you remember? Okay, in Spider-Man 2, on the soundtrack, Yellow Card made the theme song for that movie. It's it's called Gifts and Curses. It's only there, they've never put it on another thing. I know.
A name I haven't heard in a hot minute.
Trust me, I know.
Ocean Avenue over here, and
I heard that at the gym the other day, and I was like, oh my god, what is happening? We are at that point where those are on gym radios now, and I think I'm gonna scream. But they did that song Gifts and Curses, and if you guys go listen to it, it's very clearly Spider-Man. It's talking about, Mary, he name drops Mary Jane by name, it's sung from Peter's perspective, totally makes sense. However, most people think the theme song to that movie is that Dashboard Confessional song the Vindicated,
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
am selfish, I am wrong. And it's like, no, guys, that was just the one they put out first when they were like, Spider-Man 2 coming. This song is
Yeah.
on the soundtrack. And so I totally know how that all goes, which is why I was like, I'm not going to call it the theme. I'm going to say the song. Go get the song. But yes, guys, or what platform, by the way, what platform do you guys
It's
prefer?
available directly on our website, but you can also get it off of iTunes. You can also get it off of Amazon Music.
Beautiful. There you go, guys. Everywhere except Spotify, and screw Spotify. I refuse to engage with it because it's what the kids use, and I'm just old now. But yes, no more bad. We've got good. We've also got right here another episode of Foil Variant. How is it going, everybody out there? It is another Thursday night. You've got me, you've got Andrew, and we've got some comic books to talk about. Pretty stoked to be back here. Andrew, aside from Norfolk's success, what do you got going on? How's everything been?
I mean, aside from how crazy this week has been, and last week, and the week before that, and the week before that, it's a very busy season for me, and we're about to get into another like con season because we've got Bell County first week of August, which is going to come up fast because it's already almost the first week of July.
I know. Oh my god!
And then nothing yet in September, but then end of October is going to be Space Con, so down in San Antonio. I'll be driving back down there again, and before we know it, it's going to be MegaCon 2026 again in February.
Oh my god,
March,
that's
whatever the
right.
heck it is.
Wow.
This coming year. It's just been a really busy time, but I can't really complain. It's job security. I'm blessed.
Oh, of course,
and at least there's some good comics that are coming out.
There are some pretty damn good comics, especially this week. I know last week we had sort of a low run of things. I don't know if low is the right term, but you know,
it wasn't anything awful, but it was just nothing really to write home about.
Have you caught up on your stack since everything, or at least up to last week?
I caught up on everything up through this week, with the exception of just like some of the crossover stuff. So
yeah,
and smaller books. Like I haven't read Jeff the Land Shark yet.
yeah, same.
I haven't read Psylocke, which I thought I had dropped, but apparently I didn't. And I now just heard that it's getting canceled. I don't remember what issue it's getting canceled at, but it's getting canceled.
Now what do we do, Foil Variant crew? Do we just do we get Andrew to like close it out with whatever 3 issues are left, or do we drop it?
I don't know.
Kind of
I
went a
need to read
little long.
Godzilla versus Avengers, Rivals Ignite, which is like almost a month old now, I think.
I haven't even gotten to that yet. I just went I saw it. I was like, I need my covers. I'll get to it later.
Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong, which I haven't read yet, and I'm sad
either.
because I loved the first one.
Yeah,
the
so
first,
did I.
First event, and then I still need to read Imperial. But like that's all I have left now. Like I caught up over the weekend.
Wow, yeah, you like buckled down. I like so yeah. Over on my end, I think I told you this earlier. Since Saturday, I was up in NorCal. A friend got married, so I was like out of my office, away from my desk. I was still working, but it was mostly like admin stuff. So yeah, now I'm trying to kind of in your shoes, like catch up with everything, find a minute to like sleep and poop and drink, like all of that sort of stuff. But it's funny. So I haven't done like those are pretty much the books I haven't hit, but yeah, like last week, even if we were to add guys, like Aliens versus Avengers was cool, but what are we really going to talk more about other than like, that was pretty badass. Like, I don't even, it's so good that if you like Aliens and Marvel, like, I don't want to say anything. Like, I want you to just go read it because it's Hickman, it's Assad Ribic. We did cover like the first issue or two, I think, on Foil Variant, and we haven't gotten back to it since. Just ended. Go read it. Like, it's really damn good. And hey, Emma makes it out. Let's put it that way. Look at that. Emma Frost makes it out. You get a win.
Yeah.
But that being said, this week we've actually got a lot of things that we could hit, a lot of things to talk about. Obviously, guys, it's an Ultimate Spider-Man week. So what else do you think is going to close out the show? What do you think will probably be in the running for our book of the week? Oh, I didn't say it will be our book of the week because this is also an Uncanny week. We also have an Uncanny X-Men book or issue, which, Andrew, honestly,
which was very interesting.
It was interesting, but I also really loved it. Like the writing of it was really, really good. The plot stuff, like what it means for the canon, right? Like that's I'm with you. It's like, it's interesting. We'll discuss, but also like just the writing of it. I was like, oh man, like this is a good monthly issue, right? Like I'm gripped. I want to keep turning these pages. So we had an Uncanny, guys. We also, of course, had a DC X Sonic, and we will definitely. If you guys remember last time, I have nothing to promote this time with other than like buckle up. It's gonna be a lot of the same. It's gonna be these two Sonic Flash jackasses getting pedantic about Sonic Flash jackassery. So. Don't buckle up if that's what you're in for, or if that's what you want to hear from us. We also have the first entry in a new sort of not experiment, but the new history of the DC universe. It's a sort of, I've been referring to it as a handbook, like the Marvel handbooks, but that's also not quite true, because it is a narrative, right? So it's like, I don't know what to call it, but basically DC is doing their first big revamp of or not revamp, but rather ironing out of their continuity since the New 52. And it's interesting to say the least. Andrew and I, of course, that we'll let our turbo nerd out and we'll take it from there. But yeah, I'll just save it, because there are things where I'm like, maybe. We also, let's see, what else even came out this week? Oh, did you read Superman?
Yeah, I read Superman.
I'm about it still.
I sent you that's why I sent you that message. I was like, so Superman feels like something's actually finally gonna happen.
feels like we're finally moving. But then I also it made me laugh, because last week, what were you and I complaining about as we closed out the show? Like, don't cross over the what is it, the Absolute and the Prime universe, and that's exactly literally what they're doing. Like, not even, and it's not even in a, I can't believe I'm saying this, but like, to credit over to Marvel and the Incursion, they're playing it in a way where in the 616 you could probably ignore it, and in the Ultimate Universe you can probably ignore it, and they're not like shoving it into your face. This one is like, oh, everything we're doing, remember, we're gonna cross over, are you ready? And I feel like, which do you think is worse? Because like, that's what I've been personally debating that just like all day in my idle moments. Like, would I prefer the DC style or like the Marvel style?
It's hard for me to choose, because honestly, I'm kind of at the point where I don't want them to cross over. Just period. Not at all. Like, don't do that. Like I'm normally not an alternate universe guy. People who know me know this. That is true. I don't normally give a crap. But Marvel and DC somehow at the exact same time both managed to come out with alternate universe lines within their publishing line that are more interesting and better than their main universes. Just from a writing perspective. More interesting. So you can say, yeah, Peter Parker 616 is my favorite Marvel character. You could say that, but he's not being written well right now. You know who is? Peter Parker in the current Ultimate Universe. He's so been being written fantastic. So I can look at those things objectively and be like, look, if the same level of quality and care was being done to 616, it wouldn't even be a question. But the fact of the matter is, it's not even close.
It's like the disparity, guys. We've talked about this ever since. Remember, we launched this show because we could not shut up with each other about Ultimate Spider-Man. So like, it has been so much better than the main Marvel universe. And all this kind of does is serve to contaminate it, right? If you guys remember when we went over Ultimate Incursion, there were a lot of points where Andrew and I were like, well, by what they've all laid out, this doesn't technically make sense. And it was a well-oiled machine. Now you're sort of throwing in like an aftermarket, muffler on it. And it's like, okay, give it a shot. But I really wish we didn't have to do that muffler at all. So, I don't want them to cross over, but I guess they will. And we'll see how that plays out. But I think that is the main stuff we have for this week. I can't really think of... Oh, this isn't on our docket, but you know what? I'll save that. I'll do that. I will promise you, Andrew, I will keep that a quick hit. Okay. But
Okay.
before we get into comic books,
I've got a hard 9:30 out.
perfect. I should probably take that as well. So we will abide. But before we truly get into it, let's say hi to everybody who is slowly pulling up. We have Punk saying good evening, and he finally read Emma Frost, and it was very good. Yeah, it was
pretty good.
We were fans of it last week. Yeah,
and my Joelle Jones and my foil variant of that.
Oh my
arrived.
God, the Ricky Agawa cover is insanely pretty.
That spot foil is so nice.
Oh my God, like, oh, I can't. If I could right now, guys, I would go get it out of my box, but I would have to like open it, flip it around, and then put it. Complicated.
Yeah.
Also, I hate that they do that. I know why they do. It's to protect the actual foil cover.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh boy, my new comics. There's my standard cover. Just like a foil logo, right? Like,
right.
great.
It's the back. They did the exact same thing for me. Midtown. They were,
Yep, it's Midtown. Yeah.
The back, yeah.
They did that with my Supergirl, my that. So I get why they do it, but it still is just like. Tifa never did that. Tifa did it right.
Yeah.
Punk asks, quick question for Spencer or Wolf. Is the current JSA a good comic? Andrew, you want to kick that one off? Yeah, thank you very much.
No,
Let's
it is not. Nope. They mischaracterized. There are two characters that I actually gave much of a hoot. Here's the real long and short of it, the short version. I picked up that book because I gave a crap about two characters in particular, Jay Garrick and Jesse Quick.
And Jesse hadn't been around for a while. I remember that's what we were surprised about.
Really long.
We were like, oh shit, Jesse, let's go.
Yeah, we were super jazzed about that. Picked it up. They mischaracterized the heck out of Jesse, and Jay was just kind of there. And I was like, really?
And then from there, Punk, if you remember, we read like the first one or two issues actually on the stream, and then Andrew dropped it really fast, and I went, okay, I'm only going to close it out.
I dropped it after like issue 3.
No, that's exactly you hit 3. You went, I'm done with this, and I went, I am too, but I'm going to keep going to my Pakistani guy and just have him give me an update, like what's going on, man, and he'll be like, oh, this happened in this issue, yada yada. It didn't really get any better. So like we both went in, we were excited to see the 2 flashes. I was particularly excited upon opening it because I was like, oh snap, you have the 90s Sandman here. Like he's one of those weird obscure characters that I'm like, I like seeing him around. I'm not necessarily like, I want a live action movie or whatever, but it's sort of, it's like Jimmy Watch, it's like, oh hey, you remember him. He's not a bad character. Yeah. Cool. So you had that, you had Jeff Lemire. It was all set up to be a really good book, and then it just kind of nosedived in terms of pacing. If you go read that first 6-issue arc, they really, really, really drag out all of it. It could have been a 3-issue arc. It didn't need to be that long. If you remember that, I think it's issue 3 or 4 where kind of established the foil variant discourse about splash pages, because that issue was like 9 splash pages. Maybe one of them was worth anything.
Yeah, only one of them was like worth half a damn. The rest of them were just kind of like, you just wasted so much real estate here. So much
of this. And even as Andrew just said in his, like, half a damn. Like, it wasn't like, oh, snap, I want to save this page. I want to put it up somewhere. It was like, okay, that was pretty cool. Which is not what you need from that. So
a properly done double page splash, you should want to have as a digital version for a wallpaper.
Yeah. And that is just, okay. That was more of a like a service splash page, right? Like it communicated what was going on, but it wasn't really that pizzazzy. And after that, Punk, the book has just sort of really stagnated. Really, it's very clear that DC doesn't know what they want to do with the JSA. Yes, Lemire is writing this kind of crappily, but considering how, like, the draw outness and the weirdness that is going on in that book, I would love to be a fly on the wall in Burbank and see, like, what are you telling him? Because it's just all over the place. It's a lot of, for example, so Clone Geek says, first of all, Clone Geek, what's going on, our man? He says, only issue 8 of the book is good. I believe that is the second to most recent one. Can't remember, Clone Geek, you can remind me. But there is, I think it might be like 7 and that, whatever. But after the 6-issue arc where they go to hell and they come back and they rescue the old JSA, as they're resolving everything, I know I showed you this, Jesse goes, oh, hey, by the way, Our Man, I basically like want a divorce. Like I'm done here. Like I broke it. And it explained everything that was going on in the earlier issues. Cause if you guys remember, Andrew and I were like, this isn't Jesse. Why is she so pissy? Why is she being, okay, it technically explains it, but it's not a good explanation. None of it's very bad characterization. It's a mess of a moment. But so they, as we're setting the stage for the next arc. That's our big leave off scene. And then like Jade goes, oh, mystery, like Sandman, help me. And then, next issue, completely no mention of either of those two plot lines. We go back to focusing on like Dr. Midnight and then the old JSA. And I'm like, what even? And not even like a check-in page, dude. Like I just wanted one page where I could get more of an understanding of like, are Jesse and Rex getting divorced? Is she like mind controlled maybe? Or is she just having like a freak out? Is Rex doing? I don't know. None of that. They just go, it's the equivalent, guys out there, is if your dad came home and was like, your mom and I are getting a divorce, bedtime. And then you woke up in the morning and they just never said anything again. And you're just like, okay, this was a big thing. I guess like, and it's bad. It's unfortunate because I like the JSA. I mean, I know Andrew's not the biggest particular fan of that team. But they have potential. They've had good stuff. And
they do.
This just is not it currently. We've got Taylor. What's up? Or Matt Swift -1. How's it going, my friend? Or our friend? Clone Geek also says, nice that Superman is going to save Booster Gold. What he's referring to, guys, end of Superman, we get the, what is it? Like the Absolute Legion, I guess, the Legion of Superheroes. They go, okay, like things are going like, oh, what is it? Oh, they're like observing Superman. I don't even remember why, but they're like, wow, he's so different than our Superman. How can someone with so much compassion be like a threat to Darkseid? Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. Darkseid's having them monitor him because obviously he knows the threat of Superman. So they're like, why is he scared of him? And so they go, all right, let's go see what this is about. And now they're going to cross over and we'll see from there. I have no idea where that's going to go. It seems like a lot of books this week were kind of hitting their like arc endpoints. So
yeah,
if it's not something like Uncanny or Ultimate where we've been like really on top of the canon, I don't know it that well. Like I don't know what to expect going forward. Clone says, I don't think the book is going to get past issue number 12 for JSA. I think it was already canceled. And if not, Clone Geek, I'm kind of with you. 12 for that, that way they can sell you 2 trades instead of just one kind of oversized trade. That's how they do it. Yeah. Punk says, I read the 90s or 2000s JSA comic. Yeah, the 1999, 2006 JSA comic was the one that I read and I liked it. Love that series. Like that JSA series that's the Jeff Johns one. And it's just, it is really, really good. Like that is a really good JSA series. And then they get to the, like, they do 2 different like crossovers with the JLA where they like alternate issues. And I remember reading that as they were coming out and I was surprised, like, you guys are actually pulling this off. This really never goes as smoothly, especially if you try to do it twice, and they pulled it off. So yeah, if you guys want JSA, definitely recommend the Johns run from the mid 2000s. Subhuman says, what WTF is DC doing retconning Superman's lore? Well, they are 100% going for the Superman synergy. The retcon that Subhuman is talking about occurs in the new history of the DC universe. We'll talk about it once we get there, because then I'll just make a point of it. Don't worry, Subhuman, but we know. Like, we'll talk about it. Trust me, it's DC, and it's also the age where, again, if you're making a movie, a TV show, the damn Spider-Man musical, like your president will go like, oh, hey, comic book arm, can you make a bunch of this shit to like line up? And none of us like it, but they think people somehow do. Oh, wow. Okay, so Andrew actually just dropped me a list of the currently running issues that have been canceled so far. DC canceled has Shazam, Power Girl, Metamorpho. Shazam and Power Girl, 20 issues about. Metamorpho, 6, which makes sense. I read Metamorpho. I have it. It's actually really fun, but it's definitely one of those niche sort of books. Best way I can describe it to you, Andrew, it's like Absolute Manhunter or Martian Manhunter or whatever. Right?
So like it's got a really niche audience. You're gonna either really love this book or really hate it.
And to the point where like I was reading it and I liked it for what it was, but even I was like, this is a little too like pulp newsreely weird. I don't like it just felt weird to me. And I'm the guy who likes all that super weird stuff. So that book makes sense getting canceled. Marvel, however, got slacked this year. We have Iron Man, X-Factor, X-Force, Psylocke, West Coast Avengers, New Champions, Werewolf by Night, Spider-Boy, Spectacular Spider-Man, Deadpool, Weapon X-Men. 11 books. And a Deadpool book at that. That is kind of insane to think that a Deadpool book is not a Wolverine style book, right? Where it's just like is always running and always going. I feel that's on you guys, Marvel. I know you don't like him. I know you don't like him. It's kind of like
with Harley, where, and it's because of the veneer of the mainstream, right? So with Deadpool and Harley Quinn both had strong followings within comic book fans, but then when their respective movies came out and they became super popular with like cosplayers and people who were just normies and they don't actually know piss all about the characters, but they might have a bunch of t-shirts and other merch, maybe
Funko Pops
figures, maybe they have one or two actual merch things that are not Funkos, right? But beyond that, like they're not buying the comics by and large, right? And so you're only going to continue printing a book if you're intelligent, if people are buying it. And so they'll try and relaunch a new Deadpool or a new Harley Quinn every once in a while. And obviously Deadpool and Wolverine, the movie came out not that long ago, and that movie did absolute gangbusters. And so we've had a bunch of like Deadpool team up books since then, but they were all mini series. And like any ongoing, just Deadpool ongoings just don't seem to perform well. And it's
they really don't.
What they've done is they've tried to just like push him super hard, and he's become an oversaturated character. That is a character that always had a niche audience within comic books to begin with. And those fans really loved the character. But when you tried to make a niche character just this massive push where you're just saturating him into everything, right? It's like Deadpool is not Spidey. Okay, you don't just team him up with literally everyone and it's going to do gangbusters every time. It doesn't work that way, right? You get away with one or two, team ups with Wolverine here and there, and those do well. Shoot, his team up with Spidey did pretty well.
Hell, I genuinely like the what was it? Uncanny Avengers, when he was on it in like volume 3 for like a brief minute, and because of his loyalty to like Cap, right? Like I like that dynamic relationship he has with Captain America, and so these team ups can work. Like to your point, they're not. I mean, that Weapon X-Men book, that is a Deadpool-led book. That's Wolverine. That's
I've heard
Wolverine.
People say that book is actually pretty decent. I haven't read it because I don't care about Deadpool.
Right. It's pretty fun. I only picked up the first issue because it was From the Ashes, right? Like, and I was like, let's see what we've got. And it's not bad. It definitely feels like one of those series that it probably needed another arc to really kick off. But it's clearly not getting it, which is womp womp. The other thing with the Deadpool of it all is sort of like the dark, like the nega version of what you're saying. Because like on my end with the saturation, I do like Deadpool how do I put this? Like, I really liked Deadpool how he used to be, where he was like just cuckoo. And then when they did that push in the mid 2000s to make him like Reddit meme man, and he was like, doing Gangnam Style on an Avengers cover, I was like, this is not what you do. This is not the character. You flanderized him. Like, you just took the wrong interpretation. When he's written really well, there are really good stories. I'm always going to recommend, from surprisingly the Marvel Now run of Deadpool, the Good, the Bad, the Ugly, where Deadpool, Captain America, and Wolverine go to North Korea in search of like a mutant camp. Like, it's really heartbreaking. It's crazy. It's good. But, when they oversaturate him, yes, everybody gets annoyed. But like for me, like I remember X-Force, right? The From the Ashes X-Force relaunch.
Mhm.
On the cover in all the advertising, he's one of the members. They're like, Deadpool is like he's on this team. And you know, to their credit, at the From the Ashes point, he wasn't anywhere. I think he had his solo book, but you know, he wasn't on all the teams. He wasn't in blah blah blah. And I went, okay, cool. I get Surge, right? The blue-haired electric chick that died in like 3 issues. I'm still fucking mad about that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like we had her, and then we had Deadpool, and I went, okay, I like at least 2 of you guys. Let's see what you got. Deadpool shows up in that first issue and bounces. So I'm like, well, then what the fuck am I doing here? So not only do you like annoy people, but now you also like people who might care go, oh, you completely screwed me. Why do I want to keep reading this at all? Like that was, if it were not for Lightning or Surge or whatever she goes by these days, I would have dropped that at 1, just like at 1 immediately. Clone Geek says, and it looks like Magic got canceled as well, and apparently ASM is selling number 4. Oh, I think you just mean selling 48,000 copies an issue. I mean, we've talked about this before. We really have. Like last week, a lot of those get. I hate the ASM numbers because I know so many of those are variant covers, right? Yeah. Because Andrew and I have bought, like for example, if you're doing like a line-wide set of covers, throw one on Spider-Man, people are going to buy it. I know Andrew, we got the Timeless cover, the Alex Ross one, because I think that was the Warbird one. I think that's what that one was. And then for me, I had to go buy a copy last week for the Marvel Rivals design set. And it's like,
Peach Momoko.
Yeah. And I'm like, I even told Andrew, like, as soon as I like got in my car, I was like, I hate that I bought this because I know it's going to be counted as a sale. So yeah, ASM on the ASM bent, I'll just say, like, I always point to, yes, it's going to sell. It's always going to sell. It's the big Marvel hero. They put out 1 million variant covers. That way you get, you know, collectors who need to fill in everything, or you get people like me and Andrew who go, well, I have set XY, gotta grab that one. I will point in terms of quality, ASM has not charted on the top selling graphic novels charts since the last volume of Ben Reilly's run right before he becomes Chasm. So before Zeb Wells' run starts, like proper, that's the last time it was even on the chart, and it was like near the bottom. But USM Ultimate every month,
it's been charting every single month.
Boom. Manga numbers, guys. Like, it is a crazy book.
And I think we just had issue 18, we'll be getting volume 3 here soon.
Oh,
probably. They've been churning those out quickly.
They have been churning those out quickly. And now that I think about it, that ending stinger is probably like a very, very good, like trade ender, right? Because I think
that's a good cliffhanger ending for that trade.
I think, dude, that means wasn't the last cliffhanger the Merry Christmas? This Hickman's got some pacing like skills, man. That's insane. The man knows how to sell this stuff. Punk says, do you guys still read the Phoenix comic?
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, definitely.
Every single month.
It's one of those books, Punk, that it happens to come out every week that we can't stream, like whether Andrew's gone or I'm gone or something. And then, or it comes out on weeks where we have big bullshit to talk about. Like, because it's good. We always like it and we want to talk about it, but we always get taken away by like, oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening over in blah, 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 blah.
More often than not, the Phoenix book ends up being one of those books that, and I'm kind of thankful for it that we don't talk about it that often, because then I just get to read it without like, I'm not
that critical hat on.
We're going to be chatting about it. I'm reading it because I still enjoy the book.
Because
David Marquez's art is beautiful.
So good.
And the pacing for the book has been pretty solid and on point, with the exception of like one issue. And that's it.
And even then, that was so long ago. And like, they, you know, it was that weird party issue, and it was a hiccup. It was a hiccup at best, guys. Like, it was weird, and Andrew and I both would have said otherwise. Like, if we were the editors, we said maybe cut that out. But it didn't like torpedo the narrative. To their credit, it's clear they wanted to have that like Carol Phoenix moment, but at least they did it in a way that it like at least somewhat organically made sense, right? Like, it's not like all of a sudden, oh, we're back in Manhattan. Carol called me on the phone and we're getting coffee. Like, it wasn't something stupid like that. It was like, oh yeah, we're both in the like deeps of space. Oh, hey, nice to see you again. Let's hang out for a second. But yeah, that is, I think, most of the stuff we have from the chat that won't get addressed later on. With that, Andrew, how about we get to some comic books? You want to talk about some comic books? Let's talk about some comic books for the week. All right. This one, guys, remember, time me, 0. I don't even know if you're here. You didn't say hi, but if you are, time me. 5 minutes even that's a little too long. But
all right.
I realized that you and I didn't even touch upon this this week when we've been talking. We got an absolute Wonder Woman. And
oh yeah, we did.
This issue was, we're back to the old artist, but I really liked this issue. It's the layouts are still good. The story's still really good. I feel like the coloring got an upgrade, right? Like, there's a lot more depth and color and everything to the backgrounds, and I think like it just helps sell it more, because I was definitely reading this issue going like, this doesn't look as bad as I remember her being, or like this artist being. I actually don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but I was like, this looks better. But yeah, not a lot to write home about, guys, with Absolute Wonder Woman. It is continuing to be a good book. It's continuing to give a really, really good version of Diana. Like, I really like this Diana. She's almost kind of like a Superman type of how do I put this? I don't want to say she's Superman. That's wrong. That's going to set everybody's brains on the wrong path.
All right. We triggered the chat.
I know. What did I do? No. But like so at one point Wonder Woman discovers, I've got to go into this maze to look for this Amazon. It's in the secret government base. Okay, I'm going to go break in. And Steve Trevor is like, yo, this is like very dangerous. You're not listening to me. Like, trust me. I work there. I have a buddy who works there. Don't do this. And the entire time, in another superhero comic or under a writer by like G. Willow Wilson or something, you would have Wonder Woman being like, either, okay, whatever, and like trust me, like I know what I'm doing.
I don't need to listen to no man is probably what.
Yeah, something like that, or just like haha, like don't worry, mortals, like I've got this, and then you have that stupid like, oh, I don't got this sort of moment, right? Like, but
it lasts for 5 seconds before she's got this again.
Right, before she's got this again. But here, when Steve is like freaking out to her, she goes like, Steve, I hear you. I'm going to do this still, but like, I hear you, but I need to do what I need to do. And then in her own head, she's like, she has a monologue where she's like, Steve was right. And he was completely on the money about this being dangerous, but I still have to go do this. And I'm like, this is a hero. And it's even more heroic than like our current well, I don't know what the hell she's up to now, because she's been under Tom King's control for like 3 years. And so I've completely blanked her out. But yeah, this level again, guys, it's that sort of like basic respect almost, which is so stupid to say, where like she knows she knows all this. She knows what she's doing, but she also understands like to live in a society, to make connections, to, engage. You can't just talk down to people or try to be smarmy all the time. Like, you go, even if you disagree, you go like, yeah, I hear you. And yeah, I don't know. This Wonder Woman is just really, really good. Kelly Thompson just completely continues to kill it. So I just wanted to bring it up, and I wanted to ask you, what'd you think, real quick?
I thought it was another great issue. The art isn't my favorite thing in the world, but the paneling layouts are so cool, dude. So unique. And the story's going in interesting places. So I just continue to be here for it.
And also, I'm really glad that this is like Diana's battle outfit. Like, and it wasn't just like that one issue or like that one arc thing, because this is such a cool, like,
it's pretty dope.
Give me all of the figures. Fuck it. I'll buy a Funko if I have to, right? Like, I will do it. God, dude. Back when the Flash was just coming out, I bought a Reverse Flash Funko, and my girlfriend at the time was like, what are you doing? Like, you have all these nice figures. Why a Funko? And I'm like, when was the last time, like, legitimately, when was the last time we got a Reverse Flash figure? Never. Like, nobody makes these.
You're talking about when the TV shows first
Yeah.
And so, like, we didn't get a Reverse Flash figure, I don't think, until McFarlane took over the DC Multiverse.
Bingo.
Line,
that's exactly who it was.
Flash figure.
Yup. It was that, and then everybody went, oh, okay, now we'll follow suit. And that's when like the DC and the Mattel and everybody, but it was that Funko. I still have it. It's in a box and I'm going to bury it and nobody will ever see it, but I have it. Yes, so Absolute Wonder Woman, very, very good. With that, quick hit done. I think we stayed within the limits. Andrew, where should we actually start the show tonight? What do you want to hit?
That's a great question.
I know, we got a lot.
Gosh, all three of the books are just like, well, okay, so two are, well, oh, that's right, because we're going to quick hit DCX Sonic.
Mm-hmm. I know. It's like, do we hold our rage for the end or do we hold our praise for the end?
That's a great question. Damn. You know what? Let's get that one out of the way.
All right. Let's start off with our headliner. Also, before we get into it, I forgot this. Raid on Greymalkin trade came out this week, and it's got all the issues. Like, it's not just X-Men or Uncanny, so go pick that up. Very, very good storyline, even if you're just jumping in right there. But yeah, let's hit this. Yep, we're back here. We are back here for another issue of DCX Sonic. Okie, how's it going?
Cover.
We are rolling into some very, very pedantic nerd bitching, so I'm glad you're here just in time. Yes, as Andrew said, I love this cover. Like, this cover is insanely...
That cover's cooler than all of the variant covers.
It really is. It really is, like, cooler than all of that. Also, thanks to this cover, this was the first time I realized that the X, like the cross, is actually stylized. Like, it's that blue with the light. I've never seen that until this issue. And I was like, oh, that's a thing. Okay. But, yes, guys, issue number 4 of 5, which I looked this up. It's always been announced as 5, but I thought it was 4 for some reason. So when I got to the end of this issue and it was like, let's keep going, I went, did they do the thing, Andrew? Did they do the thing where they were like, it's actually working, so we're going to extend it? And I was about to be so mad. Like, I had a whole message written to you. And then I okay, let me go Google real quick and make sure it was not 5 all the time.
Yeah, they had announced it as a 5-part series. Yeah, 5-part mini.
But yes, that one was on me. Here in issue 4, we drop right back in. If you guys remember last issue, we had so where we are, Sonic crew, the Justice League, they clashed with Darkseid, who had control of the Chaos Emeralds. In that clash, the Sonic characters launched out of their Earth, okay, it's not Mobius, but that's what I wanted to say in my mind. I know it's not Mobius.
I'm still going to refer to it as Mobius.
Okay, thank you. I was going to say, Andrew, we're laying down the law right now, it's Mobius.
As someone who has all the Fleetway and Archie comics, it's Mobius.
It is 4,000% Mobius. I will hear nothing, no, it's Mobius. But, yeah, so Sonic characters ejected from Mobius. As they understood it, their Earth then blinks out of existence, along with the Justice League, along with Darkseid, all of that. Last issue, we saw the Sonic crew get into stepping up to fill in for the Justice League. So Amy, was Wonder Woman, Knuckles, Superman, Sonic was Flash, so on and so forth. If you guys remember in that last issue, again, Andrew and I have been having a lot of fun with this series. We are both giant Sonic dorks. We are both giant Flash fans. It's been fun. It's delivering kind of what you need. We always hit that. It's not shaking up everything, but
it's not some mind-blowing story. It's kind of paint by the numbers in terms of the story.
Very paint by the numbers, but there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you just want a good, Carl's Jr. burger. You don't need to go get fancy or whatever. And if you guys remember in last issue, Andrew and I kind of lost our minds over the fact that Ian Flynn, he's just been super inconsistent with the Flash. He presents it as Wally, references things like it's Wally, and then confuses, the zooms up, and then
and not just surface level stuff.
No,
in terms of referencing as though it's Wally, because he pulls out stuff that it's that's a deep lore cut.
Right.
That's when we were okay, this for sure is Wally, right? Because why else
would you
have used?
Yeah,
why else would you have done that? But this issue, that last issue drove us insane because he was mixing up
our reverse
Hunter
flashes
Solomon and
Zoom.
Eobard Dawn. Yeah, he was mixing up Zoom and Professor Zoom, two completely different villains.
Which, okay,
right?
yes, fair that's on you, DC, but also, Ian, you know what game we're playing here.
Yeah, exactly. And then he does it again here.
But I would almost argue the one here is way more egregious. Like,
yeah,
to the point where Andrew and I talked about the last one before the show, like last week or last time. This one we just did sort of like caveman style, like like I'm done, and so it's bad. This one's bad.
I sent a GIF that was somebody throwing a book because that's what I wanted to do with this.
Well, and then I even did the I pulled out of your book. I got the guy doing the phone out the window.
Throwing the phone out the window.
Like,
yeah.
So no other reaction for this. But yeah, so let's get into it. So last issue, the Sonic crew filling in for the Justice League. In this issue, it is the Justice League. I don't know if you would say filling in necessarily, but they're still on Sonic's Earth and they go hunting. They go hunting for the Chaos Emeralds. And in doing so, we get some more cameos from other Sonic and DC characters. We've got Blaze showing up. We have the female Furies from Apocalypse. So it's kind of just like Andrew said, it's sort of a paint by numbers book. 1 or 2 pages of the heroes, teaming up, winning, and then on to the next one. So then we have Batman versus Metal Sonic. Pretty standard. Before we move on, I will crap my pants about this because in this scene, guys, you have Batman on his cycle chasing Metal Sonic. At one point, Metal Sonic goes onto the rails of, what is this? Lost Highway, technically, from Sonic Adventure 2?
It looks like Radical Highway.
Yeah, Radical Highway. That's what it is. Yes. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Shadow's first level. Yeah.
Yep. And so he goes up the whatever, like the cables, the support cables, and Batman is able to catch him by shooting out his bat grapple gun and catching onto his foot. I just if Metal Sonic is hitting the blue burst there, like the speed energy, you're not
grapple is not catching it.
You're not doing I'm sorry. I get that you're Batman. I know that we have a story here, but this was one of those moments like we've had where I'm just like, no, just absolutely.
As a Sonic fan, seeing him do that, it's like, okay, I know now he's exceeding X velocity, right? Batman 100%. Doesn't have anything that's going to catch that. So yes, it may look cool, and that's probably why you did it. It does break the immersion there a bit because now it's like, well, now there's no reason why Batman should have been able to grapple onto him. I'm sorry.
Reason.
He does not have any tool in his belt next to the shark repellent or whatever else that is going to actually allow him to catch Metal Sonic.
No, okay.
Actually going at speed.
You're completely correct, but I just had this really awful monkey paws thing because this is DC and they're gonna get they keep running out of ideas, but he has the kryptonite ring. What's to stop them from giving him Barry's old costume ring and saying there's a little bit of Speed Force in here? You have a Speed Force ring. You can click it and you get a minute of Speed Force or something. I can see I know I'm right. It's coming. I'm surprised they didn't do it during the button. We got out of the button somehow without that, but the button actually still exists. There you go. Just tap into that. He still has it in the Batcave. So DC, hire me.
I hate everything.
Can't do any worse than that. But
I hate everything right now.
Let's see. Oki says, I'll take either Mobius or Earth over Sonic's world. Yeah, right. That just doesn't roll off the tongue. That's kind of my big problem with it. And then, Oki, you'd think Ian Flynn, of all people, would get the lore straight. That's probably the most frustrating thing about this. I mean, I joked about it, but he's, like Andrew said, he's been on these Sonic comics forever. And he clearly knows, DC's not a niche thing. He knows what he's getting into. He clearly, it's almost like he opened up one of the DK, DC universe encyclopedias and read through it, but then sat on that info for 2 months. So then everything became blurry. And then he just started writing it. You know what I mean? And so it's just weird. But off of that, we get, Flash going up against Baron Vermin and the Deadly Six from, what was that, Lost World, right?
This was a fun sequence. This was probably the highlight of the book.
This was definitely the highlight of the book.
As cool as the sequence with Batman and Metal looked, the immersion aside.
Yeah.
it was drawn very well, like super dynamic. Metal looked awesome, bats looked awesome, but in terms of just like the story, the writing, the dialogue, because there was none of it during the
right,
Batman.
yeah,
It was like
which is
2 pages
good,
of
which
just
makes
no
sense.
dialogue.
Yeah, which
it
is
was
like
fine. I
two
wasn't mad
brooding,
about it.
two brooding jerks, but
Yeah.
the Flash one gets put over because of the dialogue and the interactions here, because we have. Again, in one of the weird personality mix-ups, this is why it feels like Wally, because he's taunting, like he's being like Spider-Man, right? Like he's making fun of them. For example, Baron Vermin here, he's got his I always forget what it's called, but it's like his shell that lets him control things. And Wally's like, so that, like, okay, that's the thing that controls it. So if I just capture that, you're done? Why are you saying that out loud? And then and he grabs it, right? I still like it, but that's a Wally. That is way more Wally than Barry, unless we're doing Jeff Johns' New 52 Justice League crap. But we don't need to talk about that on this stream. Subscribe to our Patreon. We'll do a full special episode on that. But yes, after he steals the horn from Baron Vermin, gets the Chaos Emerald back, the Deadly Six, he goes, "You're free, go." And Deadly Six go, "Well, actually, how about you hand that over to us?" And God, it's so fun. Yeah. Wally goes, or Flash goes, "Are you fast, like, at all?" And I forget his name, but the big red leader is like, "Well, I'm strong enough." And then Wally just bonk, just like bounces out of there. And then the guy's like, "Wait, stop, fight me!" Like, he's as bad as Sonic. And I'm just like, perfect. Like, no notes. Yeah. Great little scene. Yeah. Loved it.
Good job, Ian Flynn.
I liked this too, Andrew, where he like jumps planets or something. Like, I didn't really understand what I'm looking at, how it's
what he did is
I get it, it's cool. So what he's doing is he's on this one landmass and he runs up the volcano and launches off, breaks like gravity and everything, and then rockets onto that other Earth and continues. Like that makes sense, but I don't understand like the geography here, right? Like if you look in panel 3 here, I'll blow it up for everybody because it is kind of a little small. But like in 3, you can, or 2 and 3, you see that it's like a separate orb that he was fighting the Deadly Six on. So it's like, what is that? Maybe that's in Lost World. I didn't play that one.
I own Lost World on PC, but I haven't played it because I got it for like $5. So I was like, well,
of course.
Sometimes the completionist in me is just like, I will get every game from a particular franchise.
You have to. And I'll rebuy it too, damn it. I'm not going to tell the publishers what it is because I know they'll milk me, but you've got some cheat cards out there.
Exactly. My initial thought was like, is that maybe Little Planet from Sonic CD?
Wow, maybe.
So that's where my mind initially went, but part of that is because, well, I haven't played Lost World, and the other part being Sonic CD is my favorite 2D Sonic game, and I played the absolute crap out of that as a kid growing up on my dad's work laptop.
Yes,
I had the actual CD-ROM.
Me too. That's how I played Sega CD or Sonic CD, not on the Saturn. I played it on the PC.
I never owned any Sega systems. So I didn't have any systems at all at the time. So I had like the Sonic Collection CD-ROM.
Flicky's Island, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Sonic Racing, Sonic CD. I had the exact same package.
Had all those. And so I played those.
And Sonic 3D Blast was on there.
Yeah.
I
played those on that. So my mind just went to what I know.
No, that's completely fair. I blanked on that. But again, now this is us getting pedantic. That was just a weird question of lore. Doesn't really affect the story. Flash makes it back, starts running to meet up with the Justice League. Superman, meanwhile, takes out Eggman, who is using the opportunity of Sonic's disappearance to try and take over the world. Superman makes quick work of him. I kind of really I know it's very basic, but I always like these superhero scenes where like something is like rushing at you, whether it's like a big punch or a missile and you just bump, right? Like I love those.
It's the fly swat. It's the swat.
Yeah.
It's like this thing that's supposed to be super powerful and strong comes up against a thing that it was not prepared for. And Superman is that thing that Eggman was not prepared for, and Superman just kind of dusts him.
It's pretty cool too. Like he's like, you guys can see here, he's just like bing, boom, no time for this. Goodbye. Like I've got the emerald, here we go. Then finally we get Jon Stewart fighting off Granny Goodness for the last Chaos Emerald. He's protecting the Wisps from Sonic Colors.
From Sonic Colors, yeah.
And they allow him to, they kind of lend him his power, and he does that giant blast there to put Granny down for good and get the Emerald. Only thing I'll say about this is it's cool. Like, that's awesome. But I also, like, why there's no reference to the spectrum here. Like, he just says, like, I have all the colors. Cool. But you don't say, like, wow, the Wisps can, like, you all tapped into the emotional spectrum. Like, nothing of that. So it's just a beam of rainbow.
If I was writing this, I would have instead, because I understand what the choice was. The choice was, okay, so the Wisps are associated specifically with Sonic Colors. Mm-hmm. And so Flynn wanted to lean into that. And so he went
not against it,
more on the, he leaned more into the Sonic side here and decided to make the Creed focus on the Wisps, focus on what their lore, what their purpose is, the color thing. Okay, so I get what they did, but I think it would have been cooler to try and find a way, if you were going to lean into the DC side of it, find a way to implement all of the, emotional spectrum creeds into one there. That, admittedly, that's probably a lot more work. A lot more work to make it not be like corny and dumb. Like, to make
that's literally what I was about to say. I was about to be like, to be fair, Andrew, it's been like what 20 plus years since they introduced like the Sinestro core, and we still haven't gotten one. If Morrison, if Johns, if all of those guys couldn't crack it, I feel a little bad trying to put that on Ian.
Exactly. And so I can't necessarily fault him for going with the easy route here and just making it focused on the colors.
Oh, definitely.
I wasn't mad about it. I was like, well, that was okay. That's fine. Yeah, if there's a character you were going to connect to all of the Wisps here, a Green Lantern was the way to go.
Right. And like, yeah, I'm with you. Like, I'm not mad at it per se. It's just sort of like, if you eat something, you're like, that could have used a slice of cheese. That could have used a tomato on it or something. I don't know why I'm thinking about a burger. I'm an American. What do you want from me? And like, so like, to me, this is what I was speculating. And I think you would actually get a kick out of this because of who it concerns. So yeah. Did you play Colors? Sonic Colors? Yeah. Okay, cool.
I have Sonic Colors Ultimate on my PC.
I love it. Everybody hates it, but
it's actually really fun.
I love that. I love both of them. The DS one is great too, but
I haven't played that.
You should. It's a completely different game, and it's more like Sonic Rush and Sonic Advance than it is a modern game. It's really fun. But for those who haven't played it, the Wisps essentially, when you partner up with them, when you're Sonic, they give you an ability. So like, you can double jump, or you can do like a midair dash, or you get invulnerable, or you get whatever, blah, 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 blah. I think you could have done the thing where you have John recognize like, oh, like he gets charged up by them, and he realizes like, you might not know it, but whatever emotional spectrums run throughout the cosmos, like you're tapping into it somehow, and you're like, you don't have to go hard because you don't want to, affect Sonic lore that hard, because then you're going to have all the nerds getting like pissy. But something quick, just an offhand, like, whoa, what's that about? Well, no time, gotta, fight. And I like, if they're going to combine and he's going to do that beam, make him the White Lantern, because that's actually
there you go, because they're all of the emotional spectrum together makes him the White Lantern. The white is technically in terms of the color spectrum.
Yeah,
that is all colors on the visible light spectrum combined.
Yep. And so like, that would have been cool. And then like the point where I was like, here's how I can sell it to Andrew, and I even want to do this, is like, John does it and goes, wow, that was being a White Lantern. Like, wait till I get to like rub this in Kyle's face, like, or like, what was the big deal about that, or whatever. Because right now Kyle's the only ever White Lantern, and and that's a perfect like little GLC core like interaction that we could have had there. But we also get John charging up the ring with the Chaos Emerald, which is just, it doesn't give him new powers. It just sort of like hypercharges him, and he like blasts away super fast.
It's like, putting NOS into your car.
Yeah.
Right?
But I also like it because he's like, I'm running out of power. I wonder. Whoa. And it's like, you wouldn't think that of John, but it still kind of works. Mm-hmm. So yeah, good little scene with John. Eventually we all come back together, and I'm just going to, we have 2 pages and we'll come back to it because it's here. But yes, so after getting the Chaos Emeralds, the Justice League discovers that the Other Earth still technically like exists. It's just sort of, you know, dimensional wooey-wooiness. And they reunite the Chaos Emeralds, open up a portal, and we get everybody reunited. The Sonic crew is back, the Justice League is back, and now it's time to go fight Darkseid. So we end on this pretty cool. Okay, I like this page, but I gotta ask, like, what the hell is the Flash doing here? Like, he looks like a scheming, like, Sivana, right? Like, yes, my master. And it's like, you could have done.
It's a weird art choice. He also looks like extra skinny in his upper body.
Yeah, and he's got. The artist also put lightning bands on his bicep.
Yeah,
which is like that's never been a design. There's not even those aren't even lines on the New 52 suit. So I have no idea what's going on there. Not. But yes, so
I can attest to that because I got the whole damn run right here. So
there you go, right? Like. We call out the lines all the time, so Andrew and I have memorized those bitches. We know what we're looking for.
Like, if you want to have a super suit, especially like even like a speedster suit that has maybe a bunch of extra lines on it, there's nothing wrong with that. But the Flash suit, the traditional, classic, iconic, all red with a couple of gold spots, you don't need them. You don't need to add. It's all noise.
It is just noise. And really, guys, like, they added those lines to give him that effect when he's running because they like light up with the yellow. But you could have just done that, right? Speed Force energy, done. Like, you did not need to make that in the suit. So yeah, very, very weird bit all around here that I just noticed as we were reading it. But now let's go back to this page, and this is where Andrew and I will crap our pants. And this is where it gets even worse than the Hunter Zolomon, Eobard Thawne debacle. So when the Justice League is coming back together. Now we don't even
know what Flash we are.
Which is exact. If you guys, you might have heard me while I was recapping, but in weeks past, Andrew and I were super positive this was Wally. And now, like this week, like Andrew did it
personality-wise, and the fact that they, like certain references that they were
costume,
doing, like
his costume alone, he's got the whited out eyes. You don't.
Yeah, the only time Barry has had the whited out eyes was in the Young Justice cartoon,
which even then was completely dumb. But yes, that was the only time they used
because Barry has literally never had that. In fact, there's a line that I'm pretty sure it's a line from Barry. Where it's important for them to see your eyes, right?
That's what he tells Wally. Yeah.
Right.
So, and then, Andrew was the first one to like kind of use it with me. He's like, I can't call him Wally. Like, he's Flash, because that's not Wally anymore. And why we started doing that is because on this page, Justice League is all back together. They're going, we got the Chaos Emeralds. What do we do? Cyborg starts, doing techno babble, if you will, the dimensions and subspace and boom tube.
Which I do have to really quick cut in and say, in recent years, and maybe I'm misremembering, but in recent years, they've treated Victor a lot more like Mr. Terrific in terms of like making, and I get like he's connected to the mother box and blah, blah, blah. He's got all this tech knowledge, but they've tried like having him speak like Mr. Terrific and
make him like
that's not Vic.
Yeah. No,
Vic isn't like some super genius
or like a super, this probably sounds super racist out of context, but he's not like as well spoken as, or like holds himself as like educated as Mr. Terrific, right? Not to say that he's dumb, but we've talked about this before.
But Mr. Terrific is a very different character.
He's a very
he's one of the most brilliant minds in the DC universe. He has a certain way of speaking because of that. Vic here, this is an instance of people not understanding character voice, and different characters, even though they're not being voiced, they still have voice on the page. So you need to write them in their
word
voice.
Choices, the sentence structure. Do they conjugate, like the Ragnaroks, or do they do the Ragnarok is? Things like that. Like all of that. Even as inconsequential as it seems, the decision to bold certain words or italic or emphasize certain words in a character's speech, that can sell that character's personality and do wonders for their interpretation on the page. But to Andrew's point, Vic in recent years has sounded like that. And I honestly think it is that the push to put him on the Justice League didn't work. Like nobody really liked that.
No.
And so after that they went, shit, we've already committed. What do we do with him? And there really isn't anything. That's like the core problem really with Cyborg on the Justice League.
He's a redundancy.
He's a redundancy.
Is what he is.
He adds nothing. His role could be filled by 700 other heroes that make far more sense, right? Like you could do Red Tornado. You could do the Atoms if you had to. Like there are just more of these that make sense than Vic. Like moving Vic off of the Teen Titans was just a really dumb move. But now you go, what do we do with him? Man in the chair? Okay, like that's
he's been that for the Titans before too, right?
But then he got to go on the field with the Titans. Yeah, that too.
At least he belongs on the Titans because he actually has chemistry with all of those characters. He doesn't have and that's the sad part because they haven't been able to sell that anything resembling chemistry since New 52 when they tossed him onto the team as a founding member, which was stupid. And okay, so we're trading away Martian Manhunter for Vic. Like he doesn't belong here. He
does. Why are we? And like it's like of all characters too. Like there are so many other like black or robot characters. Like why him? Is it just? I mean, it's probably just because people knew him, but it still didn't. Like it was really bad. And then honestly, like I hate the Snyder Cut. I hate all of that stuff. But I will admit that at least Cyborg's story in the Snyder Cut like was actually pretty gripping and like well acted by Ray Fisher and everything.
He at least acted it well.
Yeah, like I think after like at that moment of Cyborg in the DCU EU, you should have been able to capitalize on him more and build his character out in the comics and go like, okay, now let's do Cyborg. But they didn't. They just let him languish. And like not only is he just their man in the chair, the only significant thing he's ever done in his Justice League tenure has been because remember Grid from Forever Evil?
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing that happened as a consequence of Victor being on the Justice League.
Yeah.
And all that was, we made evil Cyborg. And he was cooler than Cyborg. Like, I liked Grid, kind of. I was like, a Cyborg who doesn't, isn't whiny and just like wants to kill people. I'm kind of in for that.
Well, and then in Dark Knight's Metal, right, you also had, what was it? It was the Batman, which one was he? I'm trying to remember. I can't remember I can't remember which one he was. Because you had the Merciless, Red Death, the Drowned.
You're actually what? You know what? You already get the gold medal. I don't fucking know any of them. I just do you remember Evil Batman Flash, Evil Batman Aquaman?
You had the Grim Knight, and then you have
that was the Ares one, right? Was the Grim Knight?
No, that was the one that was Merciless.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Drowned was the Aquaman or Aquawoman one. Red Death was obviously Flash. Was it Devastator? Doesn't quite sound right. Is that?
That doesn't sound. No, that doesn't sound right.
That doesn't sound right. This is the one that I can never remember because then you have
Okay.
Oh gosh,
we have the Drowned, who is the Aquaman. The Merciless, who is the Ares. The Devastator, you got that one right. That's the Doomsday one. The Doomsday / Superman one. The Murder Machine, that's the Cyborg one.
Murder Machine, that's
Red Death, and then there is I think Dawnbreaker.
The Green Lantern one, Dawnbreaker.
Yeah, is the Green Lantern. So
which was kind of a dope name.
I actually am not completely against all of them. Like I like Red Death. I like Dawnbreaker. The Drowned is actually kind of a cool name. It's just after like seeing them on the page and you go, oh, they have cool designs. That entire event just like went really, really far south, really, really, really fast. But so yeah, back to the Cyborg of it all, to the Sonic of it all. So Cyborg doing his Mr. Terrific thing. Oh yeah, wait, before I do that, Oki, I think you hit it right. I think it's more accurate to say that Cyborg is more plain spoken, meaning he tried to communicate even complex ideas in simple terms. Yeah, I think he's more colloquial. I think that's exactly what you're hitting on, right? Like he's going to talk in slang. He's going to talk casual to you, whereas Mr. Terrific is going to be like, we have to go to these coordinates. Like, Bruce, stop. Yeah, we're all on the same page there. So Cyborg, techno babbling, we got to do this. We got to go to the dimension. We got to do boom tube. And in sort of, you know, I hate the joke, but everybody always does it. The like, in English terms, like egghead, right? Like, so we have that moment from The Flash where he goes, yaha, Bruce, explain that as one forensic chemist to another. And they just roll, like nobody points it out and they roll with it. For those of you who are like me and Andrew, or even if you've just watched Young Justice, fuck it, you don't really need to know that much.
Even watched the CW Flash show.
Even if you watch the CW, technically, even if you watch the Ezra Miller crap, they do specifically say he is Barry. That's why he is the sign. Like, they do specifically say that, even if it's crap. That is the problem here, guys, is that if you know any of this, you'll know that the forensic scientist was Barry. That is the Barry Flash. Wally has had 9 million sort of like odd jobs. He's never really locked.
I mean, mechanic. I don't know if he's still currently, but he was working for Mr. Terrific.
Oh, that's what
Terrific Corp.
Yeah. Because I asked you, I was like, what is he even doing lately? And we got distracted, but that's what
he was doing.
That's what he was doing. That's right. Well, who is it? What's his name?
Cy Spurrier.
Yes. In Spurs, they haven't really focused on any like home life stuff, right? Like it's all been the weird, esoteric other dimensions. And then now the cloning or speed cloning story. So who knows? Maybe he gets like a Justice League subsidy. I don't know. But this is what we were talking about, where this isn't like the Zoom, Zolomon, Hunter of it all, Eobard. As Andrew and I said, even when we were bitching, we can give some grace to that because DC, I mean, maybe not to Ian, because like you are the writer, you should be looking this shit up, but to, you know, a fan or
the DC
like,
editors should have caught that.
There we go. Yes, the DC editors, that's on them. For people like out there, or to Andrew's point, even if Ian did it, it makes sense because the costumes are the same, the names run really close to each other, their canons are overlapping slightly. Lots of writers in the comics have sort of, you know, at various times when Wally and Hunter weren't in canon during New 52, they kind of tried to give, you know, Reverse Flash more of Zoom's personality,
design and personality.
Yeah.
They also called him Zoom.
They did. I know.
In New 52. You know, and so like, okay, fair enough. There's a lot of confusing crap that's happened with that. For Reverse Flash, Zoom, the yellow of it all. Shame on the DC editors for not catching it.
Correct.
But Ian Flynn, okay, you'll get some grace.
We saw you after class, and that's fine. Like, you don't have detention or anything, but you saw us after class.
Here, you did not check your basic Flash facts.
Like, yes, good name drop. I was wondering how I was going to try and drop it in, but no, you beat me to it. Just on a fundamental level, this is just I don't even know how to describe it. Because, like, it feels like we said, it feels like he did some research, but then this kind of stuff collapses completely. And we don't really see this with any of the other heroes, even though they've all run up against moments that could have been that potentially identity confusing or whatever, like the Green Lantern. He easily could have had John, you know, become a White Lantern and go like, that was cool, bye, without remembering like, oh, only Kyle's the White Lantern and it's very, very special. Like that would have been understandable, but this is just like, or sorry, not understandable, but like you were able to avoid it with everybody else. Why is it with Flash that you decided to smash everybody up? Even in like the art design, in the personnel, just all of it doesn't make sense to any version of Wally well, it makes sense to Wally, not to Barry, but then you keep classifying him as Barry. And all it would fucking take, guys, for us to like just have somebody at the beginning call the Flash by his name. Just say who the hell it is.
Yeah,
that would probably
not once does he get referred to as his
never.
name. He's just Flash.
And I bet you, as I can throw this to you, Andrew, because you edit comic books, you've written scripts, like not anything that's out there, but like you've worked on it because you want to do things eventually. Wouldn't that also help him remember where he was? Like if he went, this is, establish this is Wally. Now when you're going forward, you remember it's Wally instead of like, I'm just working with Flash, which allows that like creep in of like, oh yeah, remember that time he lived in the 35th century for like a couple years? And it's like, no, don't do that. You're using like a specific one.
Yeah.
So, like aside from that, guys, still fun.
Still a fun mini series for sure. Still a fun crossover, but man, the mix-ups with the Flash lore are grinding my gears, man.
They're like enough to bring us, like both of us, to a halt when we're reading this, and then just sort of like not just a halt, but like rip us violently out of our immersion. And I don't know about you, but like I kind of find it hard to go back in. Like, yes, admittedly, this issue,
thankfully,
it's like 2 more pages.
The last page.
Yeah.
It's like 1 or 2 pages after this only.
But like
it's like
last time.
What the heck?
Last time it was in the middle.
Last time it was like in the middle of the book.
And so I was like, okay, I gotta finish this. But like it's always in my head. I'm like, what the fuck was that? Like I haunted Vietnam style, right? Like, yes, I'm reading the pages, but I'm still just like concerned with like what the hell did I just see? So that's the Flash of it all. Just something that super annoyed us. We have one more issue. At this point, the game has gone from, will they identify which Flash this is, to what are they going to screw up next time? Because I almost guarantee they're going to mention the Speed Force. It's going to come up and it's going to be off to the races from there. That's when, that's when you and I are going to be insufferable.
If we're not already.
Yeah. Did you guys enjoy our 30-minute diatribe about understandably misnamed characters? No? Well, guess what? That's the show you're watching.
It'll get worse. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll get way worse. But it will not get worse this week because I think that's all we have on this issue, unless you've got any last words for it.
Nah, that's all I got.
I didn't really think there's anything left to say. Still one of the dopest covers possible. Just
such a cool cover.
I still like the yellow around the Batman symbol like that is just like, that's the perfect.
Yep.
I really like the yellow one, like the yellow circle, like the 80s style blue Batman with the circle. But I understand. Yes. But I understand that like realistically, that's a bad superhero. Like for Batman, that's a bad actual like in-universe costume. I just like it when I see it on covers or whatever as a reader. But this is like the perfect costume for him. Like just the little yellow and just so good. I just show me the hands. If they're purple, then you'll get all the credit
gloves.
there, Ian.
Yeah.
But yes, the purple gloves aside, we'll put those away in our pocket. Where do you want to jump next?
Let's jump to Uncanny.
Let's jump to Uncanny. Or wait, did we? Oh wait. Hold my brain. We had a message that I need to pull up for you. Where is it? We have Subhuman says, Andrew, can you do a quick review of Witchblade? I'm still reading it and I'm loving it. So give me 1 second. I think we do owe the people.
There hasn't been a new Witchblade since last month. There was no Witchblade in the month of June.
Really?
Yeah.
11 was the last one?
Issue 12 comes out next month.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
That's super.
I don't know why they took a month off.
I've heard nothing about that.
But yeah, it's there was no new issue this month. But I am still loving it.
Aside from
they're
that,
doing a great job. I'm looking forward to getting the next issue and the next trade because I will continue to collect those. The art continues to be incredible. The story continues to be solid. It's a great and not in the culture war usage of it. It's a great modernization of the original Witchblade story, and by modernization I mean they just brought it into
they're bringing it into this time,
into this decade, right? And so we're utilizing technology that exists in this time, clothing that exists in this time, things like that. That's it.
Dude, this issue,
it's a really
holy
brutal. Dude, last issue was super brutal.
That's the one I've got up. Yeah, what the hell? Sarah's going bonkers.
This book's friggin' dark, man. It's violent, but it's kind of like a feel good book for me, which is why it's always the last book I read in my stack. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna chill now and read some Witchblade.
I can tell, like, this is not Sarah, like, or at least the old Sarah, right? Like this, kiss him, bite him, eat him. Like Sarah would have maybe gotten like angry, but not like I'm gonna cannibalize the guy. Like I gotta catch up. I gotta get in on this.
It's a really good series so far. I continue to be shocked.
You've only ever had good things to say about it. First trade, right? Like what was it? Like $10 for
First
12 issues or whatever?
Is right here. The first trade's only $10 for its issues 1 through, I think it's 1 through 6, and then also includes the what's it called? The like the holiday special as well. Just cuts.
Oh right, yeah, the one with like the darkness in it, or is it the full issue or just hers? Because I know it was like an anthology thing. So is it just hers?
I think it's just hers. Let me double check. It also has a freaking cover gallery of all the covers prior, including Silvestri, and where's my boy?
Where's your boy?
There it is.
The foil variant special. It's so beautiful.
Right? The book mascot or the mascot book, whichever way you want to.
Whatever you want to. Yeah, that one, guys. If you ever want us to sign something, bring us that. It will completely it will ruin the value of the book, but it's the closest thing we have to merch at current.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's just been a really, really solid book overall, and I look forward to it every single month when I get a new one.
And to just back him up, Subhuman, I get jealous every month when I see like, oh, it's Witchblade week. Damn, I gotta catch. Like, I want to read that so bad.
It's really good.
Punk says can't wait for the new Darkness series to come out. Me too. We talked about it a long time ago. Did they ever say the creative team? I think. Is Silvestri
I believe Silvestri's writing.
Yeah, I know
Silvestri's writing, but that's all I remember.
Yeah, no idea who's doing art from there. But yeah, there's your quick Witchblade review, Sub. Still good. Keep reading it. Everybody who hasn't been reading it, get on it because you're going to enjoy it. There we go. But I also realized, Andrew, we should probably just quick hit this because there really isn't a lot, and it's DC, and we can just keep it everything segmented because yeah, we still have. Whoop! I started way too far.
Oh, that's right. We got history of the DC universe.
New history of the DC universe. Yeah. So, like I've prefaced, this will be a sort of. I'm not gonna say a quick hit, like a 5-minute, but we'll be relatively short on this one because, again, what we're looking at here isn't sort of your traditional story. So, like I said at the top, since the new 52 was at that point, that was the big DC reset, right? Almost everything went to zero, which I cannot wait until they get to our favorite topic. Like, they're gonna have to address the fucking
you gotta address that
the 8 Robins in 3 years. I cannot wait, Andrew. Like,
technically it was 4 and 5 years, but yeah.
Either way, I want to see you needle out of this. Like how are you actually? Well, that's what we're here for. I'm turning over the keys to the show now. Like, you get to host it all going forward. You just shut me down. But yes, so ever since the new 52. Or with the new 52, that was a big reset. Everything went to, near zero. They started building out from there. In the beginning, the canon was closely aligned because it was at the start. Everybody had worked on it. As the years went on, just as is with normal comic book industries or stories or canons or whatever you want to say, the DC, even the new 52 continuity started getting really, really shaky, started getting... What are we doing here? I mean, the one I always bring up is remember, Mr. Mixelpick is oh, Superman of New 52, you're only half of Superman from the old Earth. You can combine with him, and they're both, again, I don't even know how to properly describe it. So things like that have popped up over the years. Sort of a full circle moment. The JSA has long been a weird thing of contention in this canon because in the beginning, they established no JSA. Superman was the first. And then they did a JSA series and said, nope, the JSA was actually there. And then they did the Doomsday Clock series and said, nope, Mr. Doc Manhattan got rid of the JSA. And then he brought him back. And then they were back, but then there was
flip-flopping. They didn't know what the heck they wanted to do. It was super obnoxious.
Because then there's like the Scott Snyder moment. Remember where like the Justice League goes back to like in time and they team up with the JSA and it's like, oh yeah, we know you. And it was like, what? I don't even know where we are anymore. But to that exact problem, DC has launched the new handbook of the DC universe, basically just laying out all of their canon in a proper timeline, smoothing it all out. It'll work, for a year or two, of course, and then it'll go wonky, but at least we're getting something, especially with Wonder Woman's, everything is canon, with the adoption of things like Sandman and Wildcats and Watchmen into canon. It's helpful, at least for like dorks like us, to have like a solid like starting debate point of all of these things. It's kind of
a reorientation of like because when they say new history of the DC universe and we're finally putting everything into a cohesive timeline. I mean, you kind of are, but you kind of not. What you're actually doing is you're just telling us where the state of things is right now. But in 5-10 years, it will be entirely different. And you'll have to either completely redo this or something to that effect. Because the truth of the matter is, even some of the events that you're trying to align here, you're not aligning very well.
No, they're not aligning very well at all.
Like some things work really well and other things just don't. And that's one of the issues you run into when you start mutzing around with all the stuff, multiverses and timelines, time travel and things like that, and doing multiple reboots, and then following that up with everything happened and all is canon. And it's like, bro, how? Because you reset your universe multiple times.
Like fundamentally, fundamentally, like physically, like even by the dumb DC physics laws that you have all established, these things cannot like exist. Like there can only be one of that or one of that.
Diametrically opposed ideas here that just cannot work in conjunction with each other. And you're telling us, no, they work in conjunction with each other because comics. Well,
right.
That's only going to get you so far.
and that's the thing is, so this is I believe it's, it's in the corner. They're doing that again. Thank you. 1 of 4. They stopped, both Marvel and DC stopped saying if it was in a mini because of that dumb, like, we're testing the water thing. But this is helpful. Thank you, DC.
Yeah.
So 4 issues, all penned by Mark Waid with a rotating team of artists. So in this issue, we got Todd Nayuk to do the interiors. I think Mark Waid is probably your best choice for what Andrew was talking about, trying to make this all cohesive and laying it out. But even Mark Waid still has to play with the cards he's dealt. And
correct.
There's a lot of stuff that doesn't work. And I think it's only going to get worse as we go on in the series because 4 issues, they all cover, certain increments of time. This one sort of covers all of the big, pre-modern era. So everything from the creation of the universe up until the destruction of Krypton. So World War II, the creation of the Guardians, all of that sort of blah, 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 blah.
We cover up through a good portion of, but not all of Golden Age comics.
Well, we start because we only get Martian Manhunter and Clark in this issue. We don't get Wonder Woman yet or Flash or any of them. So
they mention Wonder Woman as being Hippolyta.
They do. That's right. Never mind. They do. Yeah. Okay. No, Andrew is completely right. Because then they also get into the JSA stuff and the House Un-American Committee thing that they finally brought back. So, so to Andrew's point, 4 issues. This one is I will go out on a limb here and say this one will probably end up being the least egregious, but that's also because
this one will be the most cohesive because it wasn't until after this that you start getting into stuff where it's like, how are you going to square that up?
Yes,
man?
That's exactly.
How are you going to start squaring up Silver Age stuff with modern age stuff?
That's exactly what I was nailed it on the head. They're already running into it because now they're doing the Black Canary's mom was Black Canary first, and then Black Canary was Black Canary, and it's like, okay, from what you've introduced in the New 52, there's a lot of problems that are going to arise from that. But so I will say this to Wade's credit, I do really like the setup of how we are framing the new history of the DC universe. So if you guys remember, in Absolute Power, really crappy event, really, really, really good art from Dan Mora. But one of the consequences of all the superpowers being shuffled around was that Barry no longer has a connection to the Speed Force. Do not get us started on this. Do not, because we did it before. We did it before, and it'll just get worse. But so Barry no longer a speed. That sentence shouldn't be a thing. Barry is not a speedster right now. No connection. So he's kind of, admittedly, I will say this for DC and for Spurrier, it's obviously like in the back of like Barry's mind that he misses it, but we're not getting like the sad sack, like, oh, Wally took my like legacy, I have nothing to do. Right. Like you're Barry is still Barry, which is great because now he's in like more of a mentorship role. And in this issue, he goes, I got nothing to do, but as somebody who has probably traveled the most multiverses, the most dimensions, all of that stuff, I have seen, so I'm just going to quote it because I love this line. Quote,
it's a great line.
Along the way, I've also been involved, I'm retired now, but in my day, I probably saw more of the multiverse, past, present, and future than anyone who ever lived. Along the way, I've also been involved in crisis level events that have, at times, made history a little malleable, like a story given subtle differences by multiple narrators. That makes me uncomfortable. I prefer my history documented. That's why, as its most traveled witness, it's my responsibility to record it. But mostly that part there, guys, about how he describes exactly what Andrew and I were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Same stories, subtle little differences, which honestly is kind of what happens, right? Justice League gets together. Cool. Oh, in one continuity, it was, Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, Black Canary, and like Wonder Woman, and they fought Starro. In New 52, it was the Big Seven, and they fought Darkseid. In the continuity before that, I don't even remember what brought them together before that, but it's things like that where you have the basic sequence of events kind of last through most of these continuities, just slightly different in all of them. And that's a great description, but then that also gets to where Andrew and I are complaining, where like, if you out there, if Andrew told a story and then I told a story, and then we got like Caro from the RIPPAVERSE to tell a story, and then we got like Cider from Bounding to tell a story, all the same story, and you all recorded it down, you'd probably go, they said this, and then Andrew said this, but then, so like, we know you guys all hung out and went to the bar and came home, but then, Cider said you guys had like 7 drinks. Andrew said you guys like stopped for food. Spencer said that, he focused on, I guess there was like a band going on or something, things like that, where you'll see the story, but you'll know, like, I can't really parse out exactly what I'm supposed to be doing here, which again, for most of you out there and like the casual viewers, doesn't really matter because they all can align and you can work with it. But for us, like me and Andrew, these are the things that keep us up at night, or at least, and by keep us up at night, I mean, like, these are the things that at, midnight when Andrew's getting ready to go to bed, we get into like 2-hour debates about because we're stupid. So just to have everything laid out for as long as it'll be valid is a nice thing to have. Good setup with Barry as the narrator, good view of how all of these changes happened. And with that, we dive right into the history. So very basic stuff. We're not going to like sit here and detail everything because
he's just basically he's basically just recounting events is all he's doing.
But so you see things like we've got Perpetua here. Probably the most interesting thing we're seeing in this beginning part is that they're actually hard integrating all of the Sandman and like Lucifer stuff into this canon now, which it all works because we do know that like the Christian God exists in the DCU specifically. Like, of all the like actual gods, it's like him. Well, it's like the Rock of Eternity, everybody there, and then God. So all that works. All that works in the canon. We go into the Guardians, we go into the GL Corps, into the Manhunters, into the Dark Stars, Zamarones. all the stuff on Apocalypse and the new gods, the creation of the Parliament of Green and the Parliament of Trees, all the ancient Aquaman history. Again, like, this is really just that ancient sort of legend history that we've all...
creation of Eclipso and all of that.
Creation of Eclipso, Vandal Savage, the creation of Themyscira, the creation of the Rock of Eternity, the what you call it? Like the cursing of Hawkman and Hawkgirl, the Starheart landing on Earth before Alan Scott finds it, creation of Etrigan, the creation of like Metron's chair, the rise of Ra's al Ghul, the rise of Gorilla City, a bunch of I do. Even though this is sort of what we were complaining about, I will admit, because this is so inconsequential, I do kind of like this, where they're bringing back like the old adventure comics they used to do, or like the Western comics, and saying like, these adventurers were out there.
Yeah, they did happen.
Yeah, they did happen.
Pretty inconsequential, but okay, like, you're acknowledging that they did exist, and they do still exist in this this continuity.
Right, and so like, I like that. Yeah. There's no creation changes here. There's no different gods or whatever. It's just like, oh yeah, they were there as well. But I loved this.
Max
so
Mercury.
Yeah, we get Max. How long has it been since anybody
icon?
Like, Icon, I love the little icon thing there, like him being a baby with the like lights coming out. I almost made that the thumbnail because I was like, how many people can we get to shit their pants and like anger click on this to see like Clark Kent is black now? But like, yeah, definitely the icon origin. But like, when was the last time anybody brought up Max's like early years? Right? Like, I don't.
I think the last time it was brought up at all was when Max is trying to teach Wally about the Speed Force.
God, right? And
so that's again
like
Wade
2030. Yeah, Wade, yeah. Oh yeah, holy shit, it is Wade. There we go. That's
back in Terminal Velocity.
So of course Wade's gonna know it. Also, I just realized Wade and Nak, that's fucking Young Justice. Duh. Yeah. Like, that was the Young Justice team. I didn't even realize that. So yeah, we get the Western heroes, which is pretty cool. We start seeing all of the like World War II era pulp comics. So like Enemy Ace, the Dr. Occult.
We get into Sergeant
Rock, we get up to there. We get like the original Blue Beetle, the Blackhawks. Then we get, like we were saying, the foundation of the JSA, the rise of all the Golden Age heroes, Spectre, Johnny Thunder, yada yada. Like a big showdown fight between the JSA and the, what were they? The what is it? They don't even have a name. This is just like, they're not a team. This is just sort of like a cover, like all their enemies or whatever. But then we also get all of the Lost Children stuff that they introduced, that Jeff Johns did right before he left DC, where he said, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but where he went, all the JSA and Golden Age heroes, they all had sidekicks, and we lost all of them. And it's like, 2 or 3 would have probably been cool. Like, let's do Judy. Let's do like Salem, the one who was like hanging out with Doctor Strange, because she's at least originally, and then do Airwave, I guess, Wade, because you want him for Justice League Unlimited. We didn't need all of them. I don't even know if any of them are ever going to come into play ever again. But yes, we have the Lost Children, the Creature Commandos, the Freedom Fighters, the original Guardian, just more Golden Age heroes. As Andrew said, now we're getting into like the war stories with Sergeant Rock and Haunted Tank and all that stuff. I just want to highlight that, by the way. Comics used to be so easy, Andrew. Like,
comics were pretty, like, back in the Golden Age and even like Silver Age, like, they were pretty straightforward. Like, we weren't messing around with rocket science here, people. No. Like, it did not get crazy for a while. They were goofy.
They were definitely.
But they weren't like mind-bendingly crazy or
and like introducing a bunch of like sci-fi stories. Alien stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to laugh at. Is like, hey man, we need a war comic to throw in here. What do you got? A tank? Haunted. But it's haunted. Cut, print, 1,000,000 copies. You're editor-in-chief now. Like, we used to be so simple, guys. Appreciate the work that the Rippaverse put into establishing a new universe. They didn't just have Haunted Tank. They couldn't get away with it.
We couldn't get away with Haunted Tank now, no.
But then, yes, we keep going. The JSA disbanding, and then this is the final page we land on, which this is probably the one that's going to be the most consequential and the one that opens up all the problems, because we get to the end here. So we're looking at like 19, probably 50, 60, sometime around there. We get the, John's origin is still pretty much the same, where a random scientist is doing like radio experiments, accidentally beams him into his lab, dies, yada, yada. Clark, Krypton explodes, off we go. So the top panel, though, is probably the one that's going to be the worst thing for all of us, because what we do here, now I will admit, Andrew, I do like it in the service of what they're trying to do with the cohesive timeline. I do like that we're seeing like all of these notable like DC's like scientists and stuff actually travel in circles and like be recognized, right?
Yeah.
So we're looking
I don't
at
have anything against that.
Niles Calder here, the leader of the Doom Patrol, Will Magnus, the creator of the Metal Men, Professor Stein, the other half of Firestorm, and Simon Stagg, who we all know him. He's the Batman villain / Metamorpho villain, who all that fun stuff. Like, he wants relics for power. Again, very, very basic comic writing back in the day. But in this panel, Wade specifically notes that those 4 men come together to work on something called the Supermen Project. If you guys fucking remember, that is specifically something that came from Doomsday Clock, the crossover with Watchmen that Johns and did. That was, God, how many delays did that thing go through? It took like 7 years for that thing to come out, man. That was a wild ride.
By the time, the problem with it is it had so many delays that by the time it actually wrapped, everything else had moved on in the universe. And so it no longer aligned with squat. And so it's just like, cool, this may as well have been an out of continuity story.
But then that's what we all thought. And then they kept going, no, it is. Okay, are you going to reference it at all? Are we going to talk about it? No, but it's there. Okay, it's sort of like Star Wars, right? Like, we have to address the fact, if we're like, we can't just keep telling stories in the gap between 6 and 7. Like, we have to address the fact that 9 is a thing.
Attitude.
I'm sorry, Kathleen. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, so that's that kind of open. That's like what Andrew was getting at, what we've been getting at. Cohesive thing, but now you're going to be bringing in all of these elements that won't necessarily work. Like, what are we going to do with Doc Manhattan in this universe? Right?
That's
like,
a great question.
What Ozymandias or the, if this happens, holy fuck, Andrew, if this happens, they have to address the squidding. If Watchmen is canon, the squid has to be dropped somewhere within the DCU, and they have to move on from it.
Yep.
I don't know. Like, there we go. Like, right off the bat, guys. Now we're getting into that, like, what the fuck are we gonna do here? And then there, of course, the easy option would be kind of what they did with Doc in the first place, where, have somebody just like go change canon really quick, and like, now we blooped the Watchmen stuff out of continuity, like, for a little bit of time, and then they pop back in. You could do that. It's comic booky, but it's so complicated, and it's so just like, you had to try really hard to reach for that, rather than it being sort of a natural phase of the pieces you have to play with.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Again, guys, like, very ambitious thing will probably work for, a month after it's all said and done.
I appreciate the intention and the effort behind it. Because to do something like this, you're either in one of two mindsets. You either know that your continuity is a mess and you need to try and make sense of it, and so you tap somebody who is a genuinely great writer, and despite being a psychopath online, you tap somebody who's a great writer and who actually understands your universe.
And Wade does.
Probably wants nothing to do with you anymore. He probably could have done it better. He's probably the only guy who could have done it better.
Probably.
You play the hand you're dealt with, right? And so you're like, okay, please, just for the love of God, make it make sense, make it work, right? And Mark Waid, I have no doubt that he's actually going to put his best foot forward and like give it his best efforts
yes.
here. But again, you play the hand you're dealt, you play with the cards that you have in your deck, and you only have so many good hands with this deck because of all the mess that is DC's continuity right now. The second, it was already a mess. The second they introduced the Omniverse after Dark Crisis and was like, everything happened, everything is canon. That's when it's like, you are literally, unless you walk that back somehow, which you really can't put the genie back in the bottle at that point.
With that one specifically, you can't do it. It was too fundamental to defeating Perpetua.
Hard reset.
Right, exactly. And then you're back.
And then we're at another New 52.
Right. And then we're in the same boat where 30 years down the line, somebody's going to go, everything is canon. And our grandkids are going to go, I remember when, Grandpa was ranting in the nursing home about this shit. I can't believe they're doing it again.
Yeah. And so, like, you're only going to be able to make so much sense out of it, and only so much of it's going to actually work. You might be able to flub a little bit of it and like get even hardcore fans to be kind of like, okay, fine, whatever. We'll just, some things we're just gonna have to let
deal
slide.
with it.
Other things are just going to be too egregious because they're just not going to line up. They will be diametrically opposed things, and that's once you start getting into the Silver Age, which will probably be issue 2. Like, I have, honest to God, no idea how Mark Waid's going to attempt to make sense of this. I don't think it's possible. I'm willing to be wrong if he does somehow pull something out of his butt, and we're just like, I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
Wow. Right? Then, hats off to him. Round of applause.
And we will credit you. We will credit where credit is due. We'll let you know, but
I just don't think he has those cards to play with.
Yeah, that's exactly it, guys. It's not on Waid. This is DC going, make all of this align. And then, again, just from that first page, if I really wanted to get into my, teenage angst years, really dig into that, I could go into all the Sandman lore. And that alone already opens up 7 billion different, like, weird holes, like spot style. Like, just one specific thing that's like relevant to us. The rules of Lucifer and Sandman don't allow for like the Spectre to exist. Like that's not a thing. So yeah, let's see what you got, Waid. I mean, the covers have been great. Dan Moore is doing those awesome variant covers. I'm gonna get all of those. Obviously, they're putting in like a superstar team of artists to do the interiors. Like Andrew said, you picked probably the best guy you could to handle this. But also, when you said that, I was like, there's a universe out there in this 52 Omniverse where like the DCEU did really well and Jeff Johns stayed, and this is being done not by Waid and a rotating team, but it's Johns and Lee, because DC would have been like, oh, our comics are good again. Let's give Lee something good to work on. That's not Batman Hush 2, everybody. But Before we move on from this one, I know Subhuman was asking and Clone was asking at the beginning, what is the change to Superman's canon? So it's not a big major change. It is, I already touched upon it a little bit, but it is now that Superman is no longer the first publicly debuting like superhero. Which, yes, that was the case back in the Golden Age, right?
Yes, that was the case in the Golden Age, for sure.
Which worked, but then after Crisis, after they reset everything, once we got proper Earth like 1 and 2, Superman. Yes, there were like Ra's, whatever you want to call him. He existed. Batman's out there training. Themyscira exists. But no, like they're all sort of
but Diana wasn't public.
Right. So it's when Superman debuts, that's supposed to be like the dawn of a new era for the DCU. Like you blow everybody's minds. It's this holy shit, what is happening moment, which is why Lois, the whole plot element of like Lois doing her first interview with him and like getting the human side of him.
That's why it was a big deal.
Exactly.
Right? When you remove that, you do ultimately remove how big of a deal that interview was, because she interviewed the first big public superhero, right? And that was this huge thing. That suddenly, because we've already had heroes public for decades now,
right?
It doesn't seem like that much of a Pulitzer winner, right?
It really doesn't, because now when he shows up, you just go, oh, well, I remember that back in the war, Green Lantern could fly, or you know, XY Atom Smasher or whatever. He was super strong. Can you? And so, yeah, like Andrew said, it just kind of takes away from the mystique of Superman and what he represents, what he's supposed to do. And it's really, you know, at least from my view, I'm pretty sure it was done for DCEU synergy, which is another thing we didn't talk about here because there isn't a lot to talk about in that terms yet. We'll probably get there in the next few issues. But if you guys know, in Superman, in James Gunn's Superman, in the DCEU, Superman's he's not the first one. Like,
yeah,
I think I read an interview with him where Gunn was saying, like, by the time of the movie, Superman's only been in public like 3 times, like, or 4 times. And so, like, the Justice Gang have been there forever. And so it's like, okay, you're doing that. I still don't know why you want to do it.
He's a different kind of hero.
Right. No, that is what it is. Yes, sorry. Yes.
Guys that are, yes, they're doing some heroic things, but they're also kind of pricks.
And they're like kind of violent and yeah.
Yeah. You contrast that with the compassion and the hope that it's inspired through Superman. And it's meant to be a contrasting thing. I get the intention there.
I do get it
and
now,
I'm sure as long as it's written well, it'll work really well.
Yeah. I guess it really does boil down to, do you like your Superman, like Superman being an inspiration? Do you like that simply because he shows up and sort of like guides everyone and shows like, no, come with me. I'm not that like big thing. And he just tries to like, just by virtue of being him, he sets like a good example. Or do you like the idea of him coming and showing everybody like, you don't have to do this. You can do it a better way, and standing steadfast in that. So you're totally right, man. And I think, at least for me, we're going to have to see how it plays out. Because on paper, I think...
to wait and see.
Yeah, I think on paper, I could make an argument for and against. We would just lose ourselves. But yes, that was the big Superman continuity change. We'll see how it goes from there. Easily done for the DCEU. But yes, that I don't really know if there's like a review to say about this issue. It's just, it was cool. Like it's its thing.
It's interesting. You know, recalling some of those things where it's like, yep, I remember that. Oh gosh, that's a deep cut. I had completely forgotten about that type of thing. So it was fun to go through.
Yes.
I'll be 100% transparent. I didn't read through the stuff in the back.
Oh, I didn't. Nope.
I didn't have time.
Nope. I didn't either.
Okay, this is literally just a wall of text. Nope, I'm not doing it. I don't have time right now.
For those of you who are wondering,
encyclopedia entries. I'm good.
Like this is like how I write on Bounding, where it's got like the citations and the numbers and the years. Like this is the stuff
I appreciate.
Andrew and I,
but I'm not reading through that.
I'm not reading through this shit. Absolutely not. But we'll see where it goes from there. Good luck, Wade. But I think that wraps on DC for at least this week. Want to hop over to some Marvel? And if you do,
let's get some Uncanny.
Where do you want to start? Let's start with Uncanny, because this issue, guys, if you're not reading Uncanny, how many times do we have to say it? I mean, Andrew, since the last issue, you went on the Comic Book Aficionado show, got a bunch of shit for liking it. Like throughout the show, guys, I don't know how many of you actually went and watched. Like I was watching live. They would reference it like hours after Andrew gave his point. They're like, yeah, this book, everybody has good taste except that guy. And I'm like, read the damn book. You're gonna get it.
I did get a lot of heat for praising this book, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I remain steadfast in my opinion, in my position on Uncanny X-Men, despite my feelings on Gail Simone. She has been writing a very good book.
Oh yeah, like we say it all the time, guys. Like Gail is probably the best writer like Marvel's using right. Well, after Hickman. I mean, let's not get crazy out there. But
the crown remains on Peakman's head right now. All right,
it's just every day. But yes, this book, as we gush all the time, very, very good. Best understanding of the X-Men, and it continues in this issue in 16. So if you guys remember, so this is the conclusion issue to the current arc, which if you guys remember concerns we're doing like a sort of A-B story, where the A story is a like new American post the Civil War Southern black lady who is a mutant and is sort of experiencing what it's
Miss
like
Henry,
to be,
or
yeah,
Miss Henrietta.
Miss Henrietta, experiencing what it's like to be a mutant in that time, and then establishing the penumbra and this like mutant burial ground. And then in the present, we have the outliers, the 4 kids, getting summoned to the penumbra and sort of learning this history, being exposed to it all. In the last issue, the Rogue realizes like something is wrong. We have to go get them. And that leads us to this issue, which I guess probably good for you and me, Andrew, as well as the audience, that because this is the conclusion, there's not a lot of that Henrietta backstory or even real like backstory like or exposition to get into, right? Which
it's all A plot.
It's all A plot here. Everything runs together, and
with the exception of like 1 page,
which is like this part, which is like, okay, so this book opens with these 2 pages, which if you guys remember, ages ago, there was that issue where Nightcrawler and Jubilee.
Issue 3.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Like
yeah.
that.
Something. Oh, I think they say it in here. Oh no. Oh. Nope. Bring that back, Marvel. Do the like boxes that say when this happened. But
right, the editor's notes.
Yes, the editor's notes, but not Nick Lowe or Nick Lowe style or whatever it was that I was complaining about last week. But yeah. So if you guys remember issues ago, Jubilee and Kurt, they went into town to get some supplies. A truck lost its brakes and Kurt saved a young girl from being hit by the truck. Everybody was okay. The woman like gushed over it, was like, thank you so much. There was a police officer there who tried to arrest both Nightcrawler and Jubilee because it's still technically illegal to be a mutant post Krakoa. And, the woman goes, no, leave him alone. Like, he's a hero. Later on, she goes and visits the farm and is like, hey, here's some traditional German like cakes. I tried to make them for you. I just wanted to thank you. Like, thank you for this. Then correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, did we not just already see that she's like betraying them? That she's like anti-mutant now?
A handful of issues ago, we saw something that at least led us to believe that would be the case.
Right. And so
I don't know what's happening.
I don't know either, because these 2 pages open with her, that woman and her kids giving this like, talk about Kurt saved us and we should be friends with mutants. And then the mayor comes out and she's like, yes, we should be. I acknowledge this. We're going to have like a friendship fest where, just like a big citywide.
Corny as heck, but all right.
No, it is, but I will defend it in this sense, Andrew, because I read that and I went, that is so cheesy. Like, that is so gay. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But that is 100% like the safe level of like branding that a government like body would give to something, right? Like, cannot say like mutant, cannot say human. Like, they're super corny and they got to play it super safe. So I just went, yep, there you go, Mayor. Like, good job, Gail. You nailed another thing. But then that's it, guys. Like, we get that, and then we're gone. Which is like, why did we even need this? Like, could we not have opened the next issue and arc with this 2-part like page and then the credits page and then the story? Like, I don't know. And it did the thing to me, Andrew, where like, because as you remember, I'm kind of like really invested in them because I was like, oh, I really like that she's on the mutant side. And then what the fuck, what is she doing? So like, I see her and I see a development here, or like they touch on it and I go, okay, cool. Like, are we going? So I'm going through the rest of the issue and I'm like, are we talking about this at all? Like, I'm waiting for this. And then I get to the end and I'm like,
these 2 pages were completely disconnected from everything else that happened.
And like, you can kind of tell they must have been thrown in after, because they're not even by Marquez. They're by Luciano Vecchio, who like, good artist, but not what we really like particularly like on this book. He's not right for the tone.
No, we get this book from Marquez.
Right. And so it's like, I had that thought where I was like, you probably hired him, like Marquez was doing that. This was a late minute addition. You made some editorial change in like 4 issues. I don't know, but it was off-putting. But as soon as I got my my butt off of being a little wiener, we pick up right back where we left off with.
What a great 2-page splash.
This is what we're talking about with splash pages. Like, the X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men are in the Penumbra. They are fighting. For those who don't remember, the Penumbra is a burial site for any human who like betrayed their mutant family member or like lover or whatever just because they were a mutant. Not like, oh, I shot him because he stole from me and he happened to be a mutant. That doesn't count. But if you were like, oh, you're a mutant, like, get out, I'm going to shoot you. then
and not just you're a mutant, but you're a mutant who's in my life,
right? Like,
and I am betraying.
I'm supposed to care and love you and protect you, and I'm like, and we get into it where they. Like when the god is like, what did you do to like all these souls, and they start talking, I'm like, holy shit, like you deserve worse than this. But
y'all are pretty awful people,
pretty fucking awful people. But those souls are trapped here, and they sort of are. It's like a limbo, like a hellish limbo, where they can't move on, they can't rest, they have to stay here forever because of that dark god's desires to protect mutants. So we open, we have everybody doing something cool in this shot. Like you have Kurt popping in with his swords again. You've got Rogue doing one of her like clean sweeps from the air. You've got Logan just going straight, back to basics, claws out. Ransom is stepping up to the plate. Gambit's doing this awesome like split kick staff swing. Jubilee is up here finally showing off her powers. Like this is like the first time since that Free Comic Book Day issue that we're finally seeing her do things with her fireworks. And I'm like, thank you. And then
I don't know if you to interject.
No, yeah.
I don't know if you noticed this. I didn't notice it last issue, but I noticed it this issue. So each of the Uncanny team gets like some new costume because this penumbra energy that's going around in this place, right? As did all of the outliers.
Outliers, yeah.
But Rogues is actually, though the colors are different, Rogues is one we've seen her in before.
I did. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up a better splash page to show the costumes. But here, I'll just switch the issue because I have it over here. But yeah, this was the end of last issue. We got everybody in their penumbra suits. We absolutely have seen Rogues before, man. I definitely picked that up.
This was from the early aughts.
This is like her really. It's like the only other costume she has outside of her 90s one. Well, yes, to be completely fair, but yeah, this is the like green like collared costume where she like slicked back her hair for a little while. I definitely picked up on that, and I was like, are we actually?
She had the hood.
Are we bringing it back, or are we just being cheeky here, David?
I think
way,
we were being cheeky, but I appreciate the callback.
Yeah, no, same here. I was like, I'm like, still cool with it.
I've got my Blinded by the Light trade
really
on my shelf somewhere.
I'm actually this is so funny because I'm actually surprised because I see that costume a lot on covers and whatever, and I always think I know you're a big Rogue man, and I go, I don't know if you like that costume because it's like.
I dig it. I don't like it as much as her iconic
well, of
one,
course,
obviously.
yeah.
Nothing can touch that, but it's like the only other one of hers that I do
That's like okay.
Yeah, and it's because it's like it's actually trying to do something different.
Yes.
But it's still suiting her. Whereas like there are plenty of other instances where it's like we're gonna do something different for the sake of being different, and it looks like crap.
But yes, I definitely picked up on her costume. So that really is what we get in this issue is the X-Men really just whooping butt, trying to save the outliers. We get incredible action shots from Marquez. Like every character in everything is like there's movement, it's dynamic. Gambit alone with his like glowing staff, man. Please make this a thing. Like
have him do that more frequently.
That's what I'm saying. Like we see him I think like we've seen him do it like once or twice. I know that's how he sacrifices himself in X-Men 97, but like this seems like such a no-brainer. Charge up your staff and do cool pink swinging. Like, I don't know. What are we doing here? But
yeah, like, and if you smack somebody with it like that, then that's essentially you passing along the charge.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's sick.
You hit them with it and then you smack them away and then they blow up.
Dude, like that's like that panel 4 there where he's smacking them away. If he did that and then that guy like flies back and like blows up another group of dude, I didn't even think of that.
Like you're slapping Halo's plasma.
Yes,
everybody.
Which again, the children do not know the hype of the Halo 2.
Oh, they have no idea.
They have no idea. When you posted that, I was
understand.
Like, they will never know. They will never know. But as we continue, this is like a plot element I still don't really know. I think I have to go back and read the arc, but like whatever that dark god actually is that's down there, like we've seen the giant skeleton like hanging in the sky anime style, whatever that is, we learn that it's talking through everybody, anybody who has like a connection to death. it will talk through. And so, you know, it started with Hotaru, it went to Miss Henrietta. Now it's, you know, who is he? Oh, he's in Hotaru Death Dream right now. But so he goes, this is where Andrew and I were talking about. So he goes, did you forget why you were placed here? Have you forgotten your crimes to all, or hold on, I mixed myself up. I did that really out of order. So after the fight keeps going, the god goes, hey, shut the hell up. Like, what are you all doing? And kind of gets really angry at the human souls because she's like, do you not remember like why you're here? You have no right to like be angry and demand that you be let out. And that's where Andrew and I were talking. The god goes, you know, what did you do? What is your sin? And the first one,
it's kind of a call out to for those who have read and understand the Bible.
Yes.
At the end of times, you know, when, all right, Judgment Day has happened, you know, everybody must stand before their maker and, you know, have an account of what they did, right, in their lifetime. And this is kind of a play off of that idea. And so it's very creepy and unnerving because the stuff that these people say they did to like people who were like their family, whether it was their husband, wife, you know, direct
daughter,
relatives,
sister,
children.
brother.
Yeah, it's like, holy crap.
And like the way Gale sells it here, guys, again, in that page turn monthly comic book style, where the first person that talks is this old woman, and she goes, you know, I told the elders that my granddaughter was a witch. You know, she vexed me. I lied. I can still smell her burning. We read that and we go, oh, that's crazy. But as Americans, right, like we know we're kind of oversaturated to it or desensitized to it because it's like Salem witch trials. We hear it all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many
stake.
times have we heard of the Salem witch trials, or how often is that used
right.
in media? Right.
So we can go like, oh, that's bad, but it doesn't really have that oomph. But then he keeps, or the god keeps talking, like pointing around, and we get, you know, my sister's children. They were often in my care. They could see my thoughts, my horrid thoughts. Like I spoiled them. I was afraid they'd tell, which is like, I don't even know what you got into, but you just went, they can read my thoughts. I'm going to kill them. And then like we get into just a big chorus, and my husband could fly. I was jealous, had her sent to the gulag, stabbed her in the middle of the night, pushed her onto the frozen ice. How she yowled. The whole town had a party. And then the one that like really got me, Andrew, where it's
the noose one.
My mother grew flowers from nothing. I nodded her noose. I was just like, holy, like, yes, you all deserve to be here. Like fuck all of you. And then I kind of love it because the god goes like I am tired of being your jailer. And they all go, okay, then free us. Like, oh god, yes. And the god goes like, that's not what I'm talking about. You're all fucking staying here. I'm just like, I'm tired now.
I'm peacing out.
Yeah. So from there, what boils down is that we get the dark god kind of goes, doesn't matter who it is. It's any of the four outliers because they all have a connection to death. Hotaru obviously, you know, can control people. Jitter, because she can use anybody's ability. She's kind of like necromancing them, like their powers from beyond the grave. Ransom is kind of the weakest one because it's just like the symbol he chose is the same as our symbol. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, that one was kind of one. You'll have to elaborate on that one more in the future for that one to really be a sell.
But then my girl, dude, like this shit is insane. So if you guys remember, like we learned last issue that Ember the horse, Calico's horse is
actually died in that fire, and that's why it always appears in fire.
But remember, even Calico, she's like, I don't know what that is. Like that was her confession to Man-Thing. And it's just like, wow. But then the god is like, you brought that animal back to life, like it's still there. And she's like, no, like what are you talking about? And she starts freaking out. You know, all the X-Men go like, you're not gonna have her, we're gonna fight, screw this. She tries to join the fight, and she's so scared. And then whatever her powers are, Ember shows up. But I think this is more Catholic, but I think any Christian could probably appreciate this to some degree, even like a lapsed one like me, right? Like Ember appears, and they see that their enemy is just like a giant skeletal dragon, Elden Ring style. And she, you know, once the horse shows up, she gets the confidence, she mounts up, and she invokes the name of Saint George of Cappadocia, which is, if you're a Catholic or you've just seen any Catholic art, that is the guy who's always, driving the big old staff through like the dragon's heart or fighting Lucifer. Like, that's the guy. So she, takes inspiration from him and even like gets his spear, and it's still just a regular weapon for her. But
then all of a sudden that thing feels fear.
Right. Yes. Which was
because
so
of that imagery.
good.
And I think it's a combination of the imagery. And I think this is actually really smart writing on Gail's part. And I don't know what Gail's religious affiliations are.
I actually don't know either.
I'm with you on like her leaning into the St. George bit there. And I think it's a combination of that and the fact that while the others' powers have some, or attempt to have some sort of connection to death or the idea or concept of death, hers,
she can defy
it,
but
it's also different. Yes, defying it, because this thing is the thing that died, and yet she's bringing it back, and she does so somehow of her own will. We don't know all the ins and outs of that yet.
We'll probably learn. Yeah,
there's something about that put fear in even this kind of otherworldly being, right? And that's how they end up defeating it, because
so cool.
We've got it was a really cool. It would have been really easy to cheese this moment and it be very kind of MacGuffin-y, be very Deus Ex Machina, but Gail had already led us here. She'd already set this up,
everything up. Like, and again, because like Jubilee doesn't point out like, oh look, it's afraid of us fighting or anything. Like, it's Jubilee says specifically, it's afraid of the horse. Like, whatever that is, that thing is freaking her out. So Rogue realizes that, goes and picks up their new friend Man-Thing, and just like Adam drops him into the middle of the Dark God. Like, just so I read it soyed at this moment. Like, as soon as like Rogue went, oh, she's afraid, I was like, no way, Man-Thing, and then boom. So off of that, I kind of love this because it's still a god. They don't beat it, but they basically go like, the god just goes, all right, get the fuck, like, go, like, fine, fuck off, like I'm done with you guys, like, don't ever,
GTFO.
like, do not bug me ever again. And so everybody
leave here and never return.
Yes, we see them, so they all get to go out. We learn that Miss Henrietta isn't actually the like dark god herself that she was. The god was speaking through her, and she's actually pretty happy. Like, all of her family is still buried in the mutant part of the penumbra, and like she's with them all the time, so she's super happy.
She decides to stay there because she wants to be there with them, because all the people that she loves is still
even though she could have completely gone with them, right? Like Logan says, like, why don't you come with us? Like, you don't need to be here.
I thought it was interesting that they had known each other.
I was gonna reference that because there is that was just like the highlight I wanted to give is, during the battle, Logan, crosses paths with Henrietta, and of course they fucking know each other. Like, I was just like, of course Logan knows her. Like, he knows in a good way. I'm okay with Logan knowing everybody. I know that's a really hard sell in fiction.
He's old enough to justify it.
He's old enough to justify it. Marvel has leaned into it. Like, they're aware that, we put Wolverine and things to sell comic. Like, I get it. I'm fine with it. And so when he went like, I knew Henrietta, and then she's like, and I had a crush on you, I'm like, of course you, like, everybody falls in Logan. What the hell? Like, of course you did. But then from there, we're finally out of the penumbra. Oh, this was the other thing I wanted to highlight. I thought you might have gotten a kick out of it as well. But when the Uncannies, they decide, like, you're not having the kids, like, we're doing this. And they all leap into action. And Rogue is like, this is like this moment. This is why I'm proud to be X, because we take care of our own. And she's like going in. And then she gets like slapped. And then her dialogue box is just like, oh, holy hell. Ain't gonna lie. That stung a mite. And I was like, oh, shit. Like, yeah, that's pretty good. Again, guys, it's about, yes, Rogue is super powerful, but we got to remember to like humble her and balance her out, because otherwise we're just going to have a Captain Marvel, and we don't need two of those. You want Captain Marvel, because that's how we get Captain Marvel. But then, yes, Penumbra's done. They go back to the main house, have sort of just like a scene end, everybody's together. They enjoy a dinner. There's also the one of the robot dogs, Sentinel dogs, is now friendly, which is
suddenly friendly, which I'm confused about, because I thought it was wandering off to that place, I thought it was going to cause some problems.
That was
right.
Well, that's what they were like setting it up as. If you guys remember last issue, this like there's like a 1-page or 2-page epilogue where this thing like emerges back from like being broken and starts like tracking back to this house. And it,
my guess, and I didn't think about it till just now, because remember those dogs were attacking Hotaru in the mall.
They
and
were.
Hotaru calmed them because he discovered that they were actually, and it's super dark, like they're
dude,
made using dead dogs, right? Ugh. It's pretty like they were picking. Was it Trask?
Yes, Trask
was. He was abducting strays, right, and utilizing them in his experiments to create these sentinel dogs. I think that Hotaru managed to make a connection with one of them, and so now it's just like, oh, that's my human, right?
I can see that.
So it followed him home. That's the closest explanation.
Okay.
The closest thing resembling an explanation I could give you.
I will. Okay, so that is a good explanation and a good read. I didn't actually think of that.
I didn't until just now, to be fair.
Still, you landed on it. Take your win. I believe that, and I want to believe that. And here's, I guess, the only thing I push back on, and it's nothing to do with your theory at all. Like, just look at the page. It's another Vecchiano page. Did they make the last page with the dog being all scary? That was Marquez. Did whatever happened that we're going to find out in a few issues that you and I will be like, oh, that was editorial. Did they make another change here and go, we got to cut that story right the fuck now? So just make it good, right? Because there's no, think of it this way, right? This is Gale and this is Marquez and Vecchiano. I almost guarantee that if Gale had her way, we would have opened this like return to the farm with, or this like last page or something, or again, the turn the page, big surprise. It would have been like the team is back on the farm. You see the word bubble from the girl, like they're back. Like we got a surprise. And then turn the page and you see the dog standing in the doorway. And it's that gives us and the X-Men like, oh shit. And then it goes like, oh no, it's friendly. That feels more like a Gale style uncanny version of it than just ta-da. Okay. Like,
that's
so
fair.
I think what if I'm right, I think they went, how can we do this? And they went exactly with you. They went, here are all the cards we did play out here. We can make it make sense, which is good. Good for them. Like, good job, Gale. Like, but it just feels so quick that I'm like, what were we going for with this? But that's a mystery for another day. We are closing. We are done with that uncanny arc. We are now going into a new arc with like a serial killer Megan style mutant. Literally know nothing about her outside of the silhouette. But honest to God, guys, I trust Gale. I want to see what's up. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
But that's all we've got for Uncanny. Go read Uncanny. Still damn good book. But now it's time to jump over to a book that's always good. A book that I don't think we've ever like, oh my God, just this series. We do have another. It's our Ultimate Spider-Man week. We are back in action again.
I do have the Ebon cover on the way.
Yes, the Ebon cover is so damn good. It's our boy Ebon. But so kind of in the same vein as Uncanny, there is stuff that happens in this issue, but it's also a lot of like we can sort of flip by it, give a big recap. As always, guys, it's the last page where Andrew and I will probably crap our pants and gush. But as you guys know, so Peter and MJ and the kids still on the run after the Kraven killed Harry. Last issue, we learned that, Gwen was the one. She's Mysterio. She set up an illusion, saved Harry. Harry and her have been, formulating plans against the Kingpin. End of last issue, Harry reaches out to Peter and says, hey, I'm alive. I need your help. So with that, we open back up with swear to God, like it is just Andrew hanging out in the desert. Like I can't look at.
I'm just chilling in the desert here,
dude.
Marvel, where are my royalties?
It's kind of getting distracting, especially like the more casual clothes they put him in. the more distracting it gets, because I'm like, that's just my guy. Like, I talked to him yesterday. Like, what are we doing here? But so yes, Harry flies out to the desert, picks up MJ and the kids, or rather drops off Jonah and Ben with MJ and the kids. They're going to go back to the like hideout camp with all the like crazy guys, like alien UFO dudes, the Doomsday Preppers. They're going back there. Jonah and Ben are going to help out and watch while Peter goes back with Harry to NYC to see what is going on. Again, just another good moment of MJ and Peter being a good couple. Nothing to really talk about there. I just like seeing them happy. So
yeah.
Off of that, we get a brief update on the Mysterio situation. We see that most of the other 5 Mysterios, or the other 4 Mysterios, are not happy with Gwen. We also learn all of their identities finally. So we have Quentin Beck, obviously, Mysterio from Earth 616. Well, the same person who becomes Mysterio in Earth 616.
Yeah.
So let me clear, it's not the crossover. They're not doing that. Then we also have the whatever hell his name is, the right-hand man to the Kingpin, like Wesley, I think is his name. And then we have fucking Robbie Robertson. That was the one that really took me by surprise.
I was like, wow, that's a choice. Okay.
But then that also explains why he rolled over so easily in issue 1 when Kingpin bought the Bugle, right?
Yeah.
Because even Jonah and Ben were like, this isn't you. Like, what are you doing? And he's like, it's the Kingpin. What do we do? And now we know why, because he's kind of half working with him. And then the final member is this woman who we do not know. Like, they do not identify
I'm not sure
her.
Who that's supposed to be.
They do say well, when she gets the floor and she says like, I want to thank you, sister, for being brave. But I think that's more of like a, like, you know, in like the church sense or whatever.
Of a communal thing.
Yeah, communal. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, like my brother. Yeah.
Yeah, rather than actual blood relation.
Because like Gwen does have some sisters, and that would be a way crazy deep cut. I just don't think that's what we're doing here. I actually think that's probably, what the hell is her name from Thunderbolts, from the movie, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, the Contessa, like DeFontaine or whatever. I think it might be her. Just going off of the hair. Just going off of the hair.
That's an interesting theory. Okay. So I didn't think about that.
Yeah, we will see. But that was my first guess. But then, really, guys, this issue is just this is why Chichetto has had to take breaks for like 2 issues, right? Because we get back to NYC and we get Pete and Harry sort of hanging out, catching up. And we get this amazing splash page.
Busting some bad guys.
But then, Peter goes, we're meeting with Gwen in a little bit. Want to kill some time? Let's go beat up some bad guys. So we get another like incredible splash page where Peter and Harry go back and fight the Ultimate Shocker, who we haven't seen for a while. We see them fight Ultimate Tombstone or Hammerhead rather. And wait. I don't know anymore. Whichever. The gangsters are stupid. I don't care about them. But then we also
get a homage to we also get an homage right here to John Romita Senior piece.
Yes, the Pete swinging right there.
Yeah.
Yes. Which is, again, guys, as we kind of touched on last week, the Romitas aren't bad artists. You just kind of need a break from them, right? Like, I need you to go do anything else for a little while and let somebody else draw Spider-Man, for the love of God. But yes, so then we, again, it's just all the Pete pages here are just beautiful from Chichetto. But, of course, being back in NYC, still have time to blow. Pete stops by his apartment just to check in. Open up, see it's completely like blown up. There's trash everywhere. There's garbage. There's food. Otto is there. And we learned that, if you guys remember, when Harry learned that there were no security protocols on MJ or the kids, he asked Otto to go install them in Peter's apartment. When he did, though, Peter and MJ had already fled. So Otto just basically went like, well, you weren't home. So yeah, I just moved in. Like, what's the problem? And I kind of like that. Like,
it was kind of funny.
Yeah, like I kind of like the idea that like he's not just like, because this is so common, right? You do the alternate thing and you're like teasing the villain and you just make them like super evil from the beginning and you're mean and you're like setting it up. But here it's like that's kind of just like a normal guy thing, and I kind of liked it. Like he's like, you weren't home. What, the waste not, want not. And even Pete is like, okay, you're right, but fuck you. Like,
right? Yeah, I get it, but No.
But yeah, exactly. I get it. No. But so that is where we end with Pete and Harry. They bust everything up. They are and then they go in for their meeting with Gwen, which we don't get to see. That'll probably start next issue. Yes. But we kind of hit, I guess I would say, maybe the core of this issue, or at least the core setup of this issue, which is, as we noted, Ben, Jonah hanging out with MJ and the kids. By the way, Mayday just continues to be the most adorable thing on this planet.
Mayday's amazing.
I love her. But Richard is supposed to be waiting for them there, and also serving as sort of the local Spider-Man in case anything comes to them. They get there and MJ sees, oh shit, he's not here. He left me a note. And we learned that Richard, as we remember, he's been texting Felicia this entire time, sort of, flirting with her, the black cat. And even though there's supposed to be no contact, they're supposed to be off the grid, he keeps running off to find 1 bar of signal to text her. So as he's watching the home base while Pete goes to meet Harry, he gets a text from Felicia saying, I am in trouble. I need you right now, my superhero boyfriend. What is happening? Richard goes, I'll do it. Goes into stealth mode, I guess, did we ever see that? Have we ever seen a stealth mode from the suit? I'm not against it. I just can't remember.
I don't think we had seen it with Peter.
But this is the advanced Stark thing. So I'm totally okay with that, right? This isn't a Miles situation where they're just throwing shit at him. So yeah, he gets on the plane, rides back with Harry and Peter, goes to Felicia's apartment. Wouldn't you know it? I mean, any adult male over the age of 14 probably knew exactly what, this was a setup. We all knew this wasn't going to be well.
There was no chance that this was not a setup.
Not a setup, man. As soon, even just before, while reading, when she was I need you really, I was as a guy who's had relationships with people who are not that great, I know what this is not a loving mess. This is not a loving conversation. She wants something. Yeah. And then I went, oh, she's probably going to kill you. And then, of course, what do we see? She lures him into a meeting with Kingpin. And, Kingpin, because of his relationship with Felicia, knows that Richard somehow has a connection to the real Spider-Man. And that is sort of where we leave off. He's going to give up Spider-Man. That's what Kingpin says. I know that you're in league with Spider-Man, and one way or the other, you are going to give him up to me. And that's kind of where we leave off. And then I kind of really like this, where Richard goes why would you do this? Were you lying about us? Do you not love me? And she's like, no, that was all true. And then she's like, and he goes, well, why? It's in my nature. And yes, alternate universe, but that just felt classically Felicia. That just felt like something she would do. And I went,
yeah, that felt like self-interested Felicia.
Yeah. And I went, oh, Richard, my friend, welcome to the real world, buddy. I'm sure you probably have some empathy since we're so alike. Nerdy kid gets that first girlfriend, really in love with, and I was like, man, Richard, you're gonna need a beer when you get to college. Let's just put it that way. But yes, that is where we leave off. Peter is about to get checkmated by Kingpin because he has Richard under his control. Peter and Harry are going to meet with Gwen to see what they can do about stopping Kingpin. But Gwen clearly has some ambitions that extend past even what Harry knows. And it could get, very, very hairy. Even the Mysterios aren't liking it. And yeah, that is where we left off. Again, I don't really have more to say on this issue other than Hickman does it again. The plot continues to, draw me in every page.
He's moving a lot of pieces on the chessboard at once, and it's really interesting to see how it's all going to play out.
Yes. Again, I still have a weird theory. Okay, so, okay. Last thing I have to say on this specific issue, art is amazing. Andrew, anything to add?
No, it's great to have Chichetto back. The book is at its best when Chichetto is drawing it.
1000%.
And it's just, I look forward to reading it every single time.
Every time.
Hickman is doing a great job of telling a very well-paced story.
Absolutely. Okay, so the thing I was going to say, just to close this out, really nothing to say off of my theory here. A couple days ago, there was a big storm going because Zach Davison, who is the editor of Peach Momoko's Ultimate X-Men, made a post on social media saying all the Ultimate books are coming to an end with issue 24. Well, at least Spider-Man, Black Panther, X-Men. Issue 24 coming to an end. He's come back and walked that back, but I still kind of believe him because everybody was going, wow, of course Marvel's going to kill their best thing. 24 issues would be exactly like when the Maker comes back. That is specifically 2 years. So then you reboot it, which makes sense, I guess, or relaunch it in a makerless Ultimate world, if you will. I still think that something is going to happen where either Richard or Peter dies, and we're going to see the other one step up or deal with it. So that's what I think we're building to. And I think in terms just what you were saying about moving all the pieces and seeing where they're going, that's my prediction. Don't know if that's really what we'll get, but I just figured it would be something to bring up. But with that, Oki, classic Frog and Scorpion story, 100% that you're seeing here with Felicia and Richard. But
that's been the Peter and Black Cat dynamic. Got some howlers over there.
I know.
They're barking like they pay the mortgage. But yeah, that's always been the dynamic between Spider-Man and Black Cat, is that Scorpion and Frog sort of relationship. And it's good to see that that's not getting tossed to the wayside just because this Black Cat isn't interacting with Peter. She's interacting with Richard instead. So yeah, I'm glad they kept that.
No, yeah. Everything here is working out well, which is why I know it's all going to be a gut punch. It's all going to suck really hard when we get there. But the end of Ultimate Spider-Man is not for a while, apparently, even by my theory. But the end of Foil Variant is right now. We made it to the end, guys. Surprisingly, we hit all of our books and we stayed in our limits. I guess that's a credit to Hickman and Gale for going a little easy on us this week with their because you guys know this. Normally, that's like the big chunk of our show is me and Andrew just gushing about and theorizing all this. But thanks to action scenes and battles and all that stuff, we got out of this relatively on time. So yes, all things said, done. That's a wrap on Foil Variant for tonight on this Thursday evening. Andrew, what have you got going on?
Shout out to everybody that's been supporting the currently active collections of the Rippaverse. Rippazine number 4, which introduces Catch and Kill. That is a brand new original story by the Soska sisters, which features the introduction of a journalistic reporting duo named Winslow Valiant and Betty Brooke. Really fun story, really tight script. Definitely
Winslow Valiant?
Yeah.
That's a sick. I like that.
That's
name.
a great name, isn't that? I was like, well, that's a good name. And I'm as a comic book fan, I love alliteration. So Betty Brooke works for me perfectly. I love I love that kind of stuff.
Betty Brooke made me go because you're like reporter named Betty Brooke. I went Betty Brant, but also Lois Lane. Like it all came together there.
Exactly. Saints and Sinners still doing fantastic. It's almost at 350K, which is ridiculous. It's creeping up on 10K books as well. Norfolk: A Glorious Death, already over 100K at only being live for like a week as of tomorrow. So everybody that's been supporting us, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for doing that. Thank you for supporting the Rip Ascend projects as well. Yellow Flash's book, Mighty Golden Patriot, is less than $1,000 from 100K. Death Shroud, which I have a particular affinity for and love for because the creative team that's a part of it, that's doing fantastic. It's already more than doubled its goal. So thank you for continuing to support that. Thank you for supporting whatever indie comics you guys support, whether it's Rippaverse, whether it's guys over at Iconic Comics with Common America. We're going to be hanging out with them when we go down to Bell County Comic Con because they'll be there. So it's going to be a Rippaverse and Iconic Comics crossover. So look forward to all the stuff coming out of that.
Yeah. And as always, guys, Norfolk is up. Go get your stuff. I'm kind of you guys probably saw me get like obsessed for a second with the tour poster because I didn't realize like it's got the fictional
it's got
Floor
the fictional
Spark names or whatever. Well, not just fictional dates, but like the fictional cities from within your universe.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, that's a good. Like I actually really like that. That's a good piece of merch, my friend. But yes, go get your Norfolk your covers. Go get your Norfolka books. Go get your Norfolka vinyls. I had no idea that was even a thing. Go download the Norfolka single at the very least. Remember, download it, okay? I'm doing this as a public service announcement for you, because if you're probably like me, you buy the song and you're like, cool, and then you forget that you're supposed to download it and add it to your library, and maybe you just like keep streaming it or whatever. Don't. Go download it. You'll be better off for it, because don't trust digital rights management, okay? Go download it. Even if you want to keep streaming it, just make sure you have your copy. If you go buy your copy, I know you're going to go buy your copy right after this show. But with that, on my end, as always, guys, boundingintocomics.com for news. Hang out with me tomorrow on Good Mav Ugly. I don't really think I've got anything else going on. Yeah. So I guess with that very awkward ending stutter, that's it from us here. I have no idea why I'm making this outro so awkward. We've done this so many times. From me, take it easy, everybody. Andrew?
God bless and Godspeed.
And we're out of here.
Never before have we had greater face a complex, rapidly changing world. Think of it a moment.
It is a world in which supersonic speeds are commonplace. It is a world that has seen the coming of the atomic bomb. It has seen the rise of the total state, the dictator, and the mass man. It is a world of new sensations, new excitements, new distractions.
So much to be learned by so many in so little time.
And I suppose you're here with no agenda, as per usual?
On the contrary, I'm here for comics.
How's your comic book collection, Brody?
Oh, it's going good, but I've been...